Chicago sports. White Sox had their first bullpen sessions of spring training yesterday. Position players for the Sox due in Glendale by Sunday. Kyle Lowry and Serge Ibaka each had 20 in the Raptors' blowout win over the Bulls at the UC, 122-98. Chris Dunn was back in the lineup from his concussion after missing 11 games. Fighting Illini allowed Indiana to shoot 59% from the field. It took a 78-68 loss in Bloomington. Elsewhere in college hoops, St. John's beat DePaul 77-76. Over in the Missouri Valley, Bradley topped Illinois State. SIU defeated Missouri State. Loyola handled Valpo 80-71 for their 22nd win of the year. The news service of Audible. Stay motivated and informed and entertained through the power of audiobooks. Listen anytime, anywhere with the Audible app. Start a 30-day trial and your first one is free. Go to audible.com. 5:07 is our time. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Our nation is deeply divided. Gone are the days when civil discourse bridged the gap between the two sides. If we'll ever find common ground, we must get beyond the talking points. AM 560, The Answer, is bringing together two of America's sharpest political minds from opposite sides of the aisle to do just that. It's Beyond the Talking Points with Dan Proft and Donna Brazil on Thursday, March 22nd. Proft and Brazil will go head-to-head, tackling the big issues facing our nation. Tickets are on sale now at 560theanswer.com/beyond.
Watch today's show live right now on the Income Store live video stream at 560theanswer.com.
You wanted to be a teacher when you were little, but as you grew up, things changed. Teaching just didn't seem like the best option anymore, so you decided to become something else. But what would your 12-year-old self say? Interesting and innovative things are happening in teaching today, so it's time to put it back on your list. Don't try to convince yourself otherwise. You had it right the first time.
Find out how you can make more at teach.org. Make more. Teach. Brought to you by Teach and the Ad Council.
Do you have sleep apnea? Are you tired of dragging your big, bulky CPAP device with you whenever you leave home? Yeah, well, I was too. That's why I'm so glad I called to try the Transcend Mini CPAP for 10 nights. I can't imagine living without it now. My Transcend is about as small as a soda can and weighs less than a pound. That's less hassle to carry than my shaving kit. Plus, I was able to add a battery pack that's as tiny as a deck of cards. But hey, that's not all. Transcend is FAA compliant too, which means I can finally sleep comfortably while flying. Heck, I can sleep comfortably anywhere now. So if that all sounds good to you, call now to give Transcend a try. You'll be glad you did.
Now you can try Transcend and sleep comfortably for 10 restful nights with a money-back guarantee. Just pay return shipping. So call minicpap.com now. 1-800-300-6551. Again, that's 1-800-300-6551. 1-800-300-6551.
Hey, Craig and Leslie here from In the Know. Leslie, people have spring fever. Consumer confidence is up, and that means spending. We want folks to enjoy what they've worked so hard for, but don't forget...
Craig, are you trying to tell me something? I know. Retirement's right around the corner.
Listen, a new season is time for regrowth and building on what you already have. You don't need to do it alone if you have Wealth Management Group at your side.
Spring into action and make Wealth Management Group your go-to partner. And listen to In the Know Sunday mornings at 10, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
If you're missing teeth or even a single tooth, dental implants are a fantastic way to regain your confidence, your smile, your dental health. Hi, it's Mike Gallagher. You hear a lot of people screaming at you about dental implants. Get it done in a day, or we can treat everybody, or hundreds of thousands of implants. Look, successful implants don't come from an implant factory. What you don't hear talked about is skill, treatment, and installation. These are what make for successful lifelong implants. And that's why you need to see Dr. Norouzi at Fox River Periodontics. Dr. Norouzi is the recommended choice of dentists that don't do implants. You need the experience, skill, and honesty that 24 years of dental implants brings.
This is Dr. Norouzi. I personally guarantee your happiness with your implants.
Call Fox River Periodontics, 630-232-7400, 630-232-7400, or just remember, implantsforme.com, implantsforme.com.
5:10 in Chicago this morning. The Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center fog lamps are on for Jim Telemonte.
That's right, Mike. Good morning. It's really dense in parts of the Chicago area. Not too bad in the downtown area right now. But despite that heavy fog, looking at the flight boards at Chicago's airports, most arrivals and departures are moving as scheduled at this time. The roads, though, allow plenty of following distance and reduced speeds where that fog is thick. On the Kennedy Expressway, express lanes are open again. On the inbound side, they've been closed for some overnight work. Inbound Eisenhower, the exit to the outbound Kennedy has reopened. That was closed during the night. Elsewhere, the Chicago expressways and tollways look pretty good despite the fog. We do have heavy traffic southbound I-65 from State Road 2 in Lowell to the Kankakee River Bridge. There was an earlier crash in that area. Traffic is a service of Audible. Stay motivated, informed, and entertained with the power of audiobooks. Listen anytime, anywhere with the Audible app. Start a 30-day trial. Your first one is free. Just go to audible.com. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answers starts next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast with our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
Dense fog advisory in effect for the morning. Widespread dense morning fog, then areas of fog in the afternoon. Otherwise, cloudy today with some drizzle, followed by a little rain in the afternoon. High 43. For tonight, overcast and colder, low 25. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
38 at O'Hare, 41 along the lakefront, 40 at Midway, 36 in Aurora. Your next news update is at 5:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy starts now on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas, best beans, best roast, best coffee.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
So this is dubbed the Uber ride from hell. That's how Channel 5 described it last night. There was a guy from Boston. His name's Martino. He was here visiting. He was at the bar. He called for an Uber. So the Uber driver comes, and there's a female passenger in the front seat. And he thought, oh, okay, I'll still get in because I need to go home. And she was very touchy-feely.
She kept trying to open the door, like groping him, and like could not even stand like still in one position. He definitely was acknowledging this and was just like, calm down, calm down.
Yeah, but it didn't. He didn't say.
You do want to acknowledge groping.
Yeah, but he didn't say calm down enough because then she started, undressing him.
She started unbuttoning his pants, and he was like, I'm going to drop him off. I'm going to drop him off. Just hold off.
But let me guess, she couldn't hold off.
She couldn't hold off, so a sexual act was performed in the front while he was driving. And then the driver had the gall to ask him to give him a good review. You know how you guys rate each other? Hey, rate me well.
At the end, he's like, well, give me a good rating, won't you? And I was like, okay.
Well, what about her? Is she going to get rated as well?
Oh, hey.
You don't feel safe. You don't know what to do, and, you would expect more.
So he was, he complained to Uber. He didn't give him a good rating, by the way.
Customer service, I've got a bone to pick with you.
Guess what Uber gave him for his troubles? Because he had to witness this. Guess what they gave him? $10 credit.
Well.
Here's $10. He got a free peep show, but he got $10 from Uber.
That's also what the driver gave that woman.
And now he's using Lyft. And now he's using Lyft instead of Uber. Okay?
The worst thing about the story.
What?
You're bearing the lead.
What?
They charged him surge pricing for the ride.
Connect with Dan and Amy on the AM 560 The Answer mobile app. Just text the word app to 64636 to download the app today.
I'm Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. This 15th of February, the fog is dense. Much of the Chicago area visibility is well under a quarter of a mile. Despite that, at the airports, most flights are moving as scheduled, but allow plenty of time to get to the airport and keep those speeds down where the visibilities are especially reduced. And, of course, place plenty safe following distance. Edens is right now delay-free. Same goes for the Kennedy. Again, speeds are reduced where the visibilities are as well. Eisenhower looking good. Stevenson also fine. Outbound Ryan, there is road work 87th to the split. 3 left lanes closed till 6 this morning. I-57 okay. Bishop Ford inbound, little congestion now approaching the merge. Lakeshore Drive is fine. The area tollways are looking good. I-65 southbound traffic is heavy. State Road 2 in Lowell to the Kankakee River Bridge. There was an earlier crash there, and the right lane is still blocked there, right at that Kankakee River Bridge. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
The American economy has come roaring back to life. After years of stagnation, American businesses are finally thriving again as the economic climate continues to improve. Are you a business owner who's part of this great American comeback? If so, we want to hear from you. Once again, we're taking this show out on the road. I think we're in Glen Ellen next week. And we'll be broadcasting from Chicagoland businesses that are enjoying success in the current business environment. We want to hear your story, share your successes, and find out what makes your business run. It's the Signature Bank Business Tour. To submit your business for consideration, just go to 560theanswer.com/business. That's 560theanswer.com/business. And we might be broadcasting at your location in the near future.
Year after every new year, you make the same resolutions for yourself, hoping that one of these times they just might stick. You know, the whole new year, new you thing. You're going to lose weight, quit smoking, eat better, find the love of your life. Well, best of luck to you. How about a resolution that can really happen? One for your business's computer and IT network. It's a goal that can be accomplished and realized instantly with the help of Turnkey IT. 2018 is poised for growth. You can't afford to let your business become sidetracked by poor IT assistance or dated computer hardware or software. Remember, in the changing world of IT, what you upgraded a few years ago may not cut it in the new year. One of the biggest parts of your business infrastructure is your IT network. And if that's not right, the impact can cost you a lot of money. Make your resolution today. Be ready to handle the growth expected in 2018 with your business backbone supported by Turnkey IT.
Leave the technical stuff to the pros so you can focus on the important things. Visit turnkey.pro today. Turnkey.pro.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, and so another horrific atrocity yesterday at a school. The Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida, where a former student opened fire in the school, killing at least 17.
Yeah, and he actually shot 5 people on his way into the school. He was wearing a gas mask. He pulled the fire alarm so that everybody would run into the hallway, and that's when he started his rampage. He was expelled last year because he was threatening kids. And if you take a look at his social media profile, because I, of course, was glued to this all day yesterday. I could not tear myself apart. There's a lot of pictures of him on Instagram with knives, but he also made a video touting that he's going to be the biggest school shooter.
Some of the
and it didn't happen.
Some of the students described him, one 17-year-old. I knew him to be passive-aggressive but not violent. He was rude to people. He had an act up like he was tough. He never got into physical fights with anyone, but he didn't get into verbal arguments. I just thought he dropped out of school. I didn't think he would do anything. He always kept a low profile. This 17-year-old going on to say he was definitely not accepted at our school socially. People saw him as someone who was different than the normal people at our school.
And I'm sure you've heard it, but it's just so chilling. When the shooting started, a lot of kids had their cell phones out.
Holy Oh my God! Oh my God!
It is just
people were
sick.
That got that video. I mean, in that video, the girl who was filming that with her phone, you see bullet holes in the computer screen in the room that they're in. Another individual, another student that was there. This was the first post. I'm in a school shooting right now. This was a kid at the school who tweeted that out, I mean, it's just.
This morning, 5 people are in extremely critical condition. They could lose their lives. 10 others have injuries where they're going to survive, and they're trying to figure out, why he did it. It was Valentine's Day. It was Ash Wednesday, and how did he get back into the school? They said that the high school is pretty secure. The sheriff, actually, he's got triplet sons, and they went to high school there, played football there. So he was really emotional yesterday and we'll play
We
that audio
should.
for you because he's very familiar with that place. And Anthony Rizzo graduated from that high school, and he was very emotional yesterday on social media as well. That's his home high school.
We should note that the 19-year-old shooter was taken into custody. He was not, if you didn't catch it, it's something where obviously he could have easily been killed at the scene by police or taken his own life, but he was taken into custody. There's also this. Fox News reported yesterday that this individual, the shooter, was fascinated by guns. He followed Syrian resistance groups on social media, like Syrian resistant groups and fighter groups out of Iraq. And we should also note a couple days ago, as far as a week ago, he was involved in a YouTube chat conversation about bombs or building bombs.
FBI did investigate because after that YouTube, whatever you call it, the video was placed on YouTube where he was touting that he's going to be the biggest school shooter. They did investigate, but nothing was done. He used an AR-15, which is the same weapon that was used in Sandy Hook, the Aurora Theater shooting, Pulse nightclub, Las Vegas shooting. So, of course, this morning there's calls to stop the sale of that. He did buy the gun legally. He was 19 years old, so I don't know. His parents, he had adoptive parents. His mom died in November. His dad died 13 years ago. And the family that took him in, of course, that they came forward last night saying they did not see this coming. They did not know that this was going to happen.
Chris Hayes, MSNBC, he's the one that looks like Rachel Maddow, except more feminine.
Mm-hmm.
He tweeted out yesterday, "Is the White House really hiding behind a school shooting so they don't have to answer questions about a host of scandals in the administration? Kind of looks like that's what's happening."
Oh, my gosh. Are you kidding me?
Okay, Chris.
312-642-5600 is our turnkey.pro answer line. 64636-DA. Then type in a quick comment.
Ed in Oak Brook, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, I think you guys know by now, or I'm more of a conservative type guy, and I'm also pro Second Amendment. But you know what? I think it's time that we declare that gun ownership is more like a privilege, and some people should not, and I mean should not have more than one gun, or should just have a pistol or something like that. And in other words, and this kid, what I understand and what Amy's reporting is that he's had a history of issues. And he should not have had more than a gun that can shoot one round at a time. So I think the NRA should really get in front of this and take the lead. And it's only hurting them by letting whack jobs have guns and do this kind of shooting. Have a nice day.
Okay.
I mean, if you're expelled,
I don't know how that would work exactly.
If
but
you're
okay.
expelled from high school, maybe you shouldn't be able to buy a weapon. I mean, we've got to set standards somewhere to make sure that this doesn't happen again, because you know it's going to happen again. And it happened the last school shooting. We had 18 school shootings since the beginning of this year. And this is February. I mean, are you kidding me? And the last one that happened, remember, was in Kentucky, and something else was going on in the world where we didn't even talk about it on this show because it's become so commonplace. And only when there's so many victims, 5 outside the high school, 12 inside, that we talk about it.
Instrumentality of evil versus evil. Instrumentality of evil versus evil. You want to chase the last expression of evil and make it public policy for 330 million people. Not only is it illogical, and it's a preemptory infringement on other people's rights who are law-abiding, won't work. Doesn't work. So I understand these things are very emotional, and I understand that we as human beings want to fix things so that nothing so horrific happens again. But, when you're talking about public policy and how to order free society, it requires a little bit of reflection, a little bit of measure, something that is in short supply. Casper in West Chicago.
Hi, good morning, Dan.
Morning.
Hi, Casper.
Hi, I just want to ask you, I haven't heard anything about that, but this guy was a dreamer, or he came here from chain migration or lottery visa, something like that? You don't know that?
No, all we know is that he was adopted.
Are you being sarcastic?
Yeah, I'm sarcastic because
and now you're
Now's not
gone.
the time to be
And now you're gone, Casper. Goofball. Grow up. We don't know much about him, and we'll tell you the details as we learn them.
Yes, and if he was, we would know, I'm sure. But it doesn't matter. He was adopted. His mom died in November, and one of his neighbors took him in after she passed away.
Bruno in Naperville.
Yeah, so the caller just before Casper talked about we need to have some sort of criteria on who's allowed to own guns and how many guns are they allowed to own. So who's going to make that decision, and how do we create a standard that doesn't change, with every single incident that occurs? Because what's going to happen is they'll do it like his example, somebody who was expelled from high school. Before you know it, if you've had more than 2 detentions, in your entire high school career, you're not allowed to have a gun. This thing that's a slippery slope, and I'm not willing to do that. This is the price we have to pay for freedom. One of the reasons we've never had a Hitler or a Stalin in the country is because there's 50 or 100 million people with guns who could shoot back if we ever had a government that tried to do something like that.
Well, thanks for the call, Bruno. I mean, you chased the last incident. If you were expelled from high school, should you not be able to stay above, like, the second floor at a hotel? So we could address the Las Vegas thing?
I'm just searching for ideas because I don't want it to happen again.
Well, nobody wants it to happen again. Tony on the south side.
Hey, good morning, Dan. Good morning, Amy. Amy, my lammy lamb. Listen, baby, you're a great investigative reporter back in the day, but I think you're losing it. The 19 or 18 school shootings that you cited were not mass shootings. Some were suicide by guns. Some were accidental discharges. Some were just revolvers. There's only been 2 mass shootings with guns, the one yesterday and the one in Kentucky. So please, I love you, baby. You got to get your story straight, though. You're perpetuating these CNN lies. Have a good day, kids.
Thanks for the call, Tony. All right, we'll keep.
Did he call me Sugar Pop?
Or
Baby?
I think Honey Baby, or Baby, or Doll, or some combination of all of those.
Well, it's the worst mass shooting since Sandy Hook, and it's the worst mass shooting in the state of Florida.
Yeah, and so speaking of Newtown, Chris Murphy, senator from Connecticut, senator from Connecticut, he took to the Senate floor, was going to talk about immigration, but had this comment about guns.
I'm coming to the floor to talk about something else, but let me just note once again for my colleagues that this happens nowhere else other than the United States of America. This epidemic of mass slaughter, this scourge of school shooting after school shooting.
Scourge. It's not scourge.
It only happens here not because of coincidence, not because of bad luck, but as a consequence of our inaction. We are responsible for a level of mass atrocity that happens in this country with zero parallel anywhere else.
I'd love to hold Congress responsible for the shooting in Florida yesterday. I would, because I'd love to hold them responsible for all of the ills in the world, some of which they are responsible for. Not responsible, but nice try, Chris.
It's like a hot, steaming cup of information to start your day. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
Policies issued by American General Life Insurance Company, Houston, Texas. Not available in all states. For details, visit AIGdirect.com.
If you're young and healthy, you don't need life insurance, right? Yeah, that's what I used to think, too, until my brother died at 38. Joe left his wife with 2 kids, a mortgage, and a stack of bills she couldn't pay. Mary had to sell the house and move everybody into this tiny 2-bedroom apartment just to make ends meet. I never want to do that to my wife, so I got life insurance. I called AIG Direct and was really surprised how affordable it is. Just $14 a month for $250,000 of term life coverage. Listen, if you have a family, you should seriously think about getting life insurance. You'll feel a lot better having it, trust me.
Call AIG Direct for a free, no-obligation quote. The call takes less than 5 minutes, and you could save up to 70%. Call now, 1-800-600-5451. That's 1-800-600-5451. 1-800-600-5451.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, actually all morning long, we'll keep you up to date on the mass shooting in Florida. And let's not forget Commander Bauer, new information about his killer and funeral arrangements. But first, let's get into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, good morning. Good morning, everyone. 40 degrees outside, cloudy skies. 17 are dead, including following Wednesday's shooting at a high school in Florida. Broward County Sheriff Scott Israel said the victims include both students and adults at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland. The Broward County Sheriff confirmed the identity of the shooter.
Nicholas, I think we spell his name Nikolas Cruz, was the killer. He is in custody, and we've already began to dissect his websites and the things that social media that he was on, and some of the things have come to mind are very, very disturbing.
Cruz was a former student at the school, expelled for disciplinary reasons. Florida Governor Rick Scott reacted.
You come to the conclusion this is just absolutely pure evil.
As did Democrat Senator Chris Murphy on the floor of the Senate.
Turn on your television right now, you're going to see scenes of children running for their lives.
Speaking on the floor, Murphy saying incidents like the shooting at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School were preventable and, according to Murphy, happened nowhere else in the world. Republican House Speaker Paul Ryan says there's been a breakdown in the vetting of top employees at the White House.
Clearly, we should all be condemning domestic violence. And if a person who commits domestic violence gets in government, then there's a breakdown in the system. There's a breakdown in the vetting system, and that breakdown needs to be addressed.
At a Capitol briefing yesterday, Ryan was pressed about the ongoing controversy about now former White House Staff Secretary Rob Porter. A group of senators has apparently reached a bipartisan agreement aimed at balancing Democrats' fight to offer citizenship to young dreamers with President Trump's demands for billions to build a border wall. Through the compromise, 16 senators with centrist views on the issue may win support from Democrats, although it faces an uncertain fate going forward. South Africa's acting president, Cyril Ramaphosa, was poised to become the country's new leader this morning after a parliament vote Thursday following the resignation of Jacob Zuma. Zuma resigned after scandals in a nationally televised address late on Wednesday. Former presidential nominee Mitt Romney will not be announcing a run for the Senate today, as expected. Romney says he will not be making that statement out of respect to the families of victims of the shooting in South Florida. McDonald's will soon banish cheeseburgers and chocolate milk from its Happy Meal menu in an effort to cut down on the calories, sodium, saturated fat, sugar, and other things kids consume at their restaurants. Foggy conditions are causing travel issues this morning in Chicagoland. Drivers asked to slow down. Jim Telemonte along in just a moment with an update on how that's impacting your ride to work. A 1-year-old boy is in serious condition following a fire on Chicago's South Side. A 4-time felon charged with murdering Chicago Police Commander Paul Bauer is due in court today. Shamari Leggett is accused of shooting the 31-year veteran officer Tuesday during a struggle in a stairwell outside of the Thompson Center in Chicago. Kyle Lowry, 20, and the Raptors win over the Bulls, 122-98. Blackhawks hosting the Ducks tonight at the UC. Illinois allowed Indiana to shoot nearly 60% from the field as they took a 78-68 loss in Bloomington. American skier Michaela Schifrin celebrating her second career Olympic gold medal, winning the women's giant slalom. The news, a service of Audible. Stay motivated, informed, and entertained through the power of audiobooks. Listen anytime, anywhere with the Audible app. Start a 30-day trial, and your first one is free. Just go to audible.com. 5:35 is our time. We'll have a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Watch today's show live right now on the Income Store live video stream at 560theanswer.com.
Outsmart the flu. The Exergen temporal scanner is the #1 thermometer preferred by pediatricians. Smart technology backed by over 70 clinical studies. Protect your family. Rely on Exergen.com. Year after every new year, you make the same resolutions for yourself, hoping that one of these times they just might stick. You know, the whole new year, new you thing. You're gonna lose weight, quit smoking, eat better, find the love of your life. Well, best of luck to you. How about a resolution that can really happen? One for your business's computer and IT network. It's a goal that can be accomplished and realized instantly with the help of Turnkey IT. 2018 is poised for growth. You can't afford to let your business become sidetracked by poor IT assistance or dated computer hardware or software. Remember, in the changing world of IT, what you upgraded a few years ago may not cut it in the new year. One of the biggest parts of your business infrastructure is your IT network. And if that's not right, the impact can cost you a lot of money. Make your resolution today. Be ready to handle the growth expected in 2018 with your business backbone supported by Turnkey IT.
Leave the technical stuff to the pros so you can focus on the important things. Visit turnkey.pro today. Turnkey.pro.
Federal, state, and excise tax matters are serious and need to be addressed, not ignored. You don't need scare tactics to know procrastination can lead to severe consequences. You need a tax solution partner who will provide an honest assessment of your unique situation and help implement a strategy that fits your circumstances. You need Tax Relief Inc. They've helped hundreds of satisfied customers like Mary.
Through a series of unfortunate circumstances, I found myself owing over $40,000 in back taxes. Tax Relief Inc. was able to negotiate an offer and compromise for $2,400 payable in 3 installments. I never would have been able to reach a settlement like this with the IRS. Thanks, Tax Relief Inc.
Ready for your tax problem relief? Deal directly with owner Joe Shadle of Tax Relief Inc. No salesperson or middleman, just an honest, local, and dependable partner to assist you with the resolution of your tax matter. Call Joe now for a free, no-obligation consultation at 630-655-1040. That's 630-655-1040. Or go to taxreliefinc.com.
5:37 and a check of our roads this morning in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center with Jim.
Thanks, Mike. You mentioned that fog is a real factor, reducing speeds and hopefully increasing following distances. The airport's not a big deal at this point. We're seeing a few more delays here and there, but not many at O'Hare or at Midway. Traffic flows nicely on the Edens, what traffic there is. Same goes to the Kennedy. On Eisenhower, getting a little congestion around 25th Avenue. Mount Stevenson, about a 1-minute delay, Pulaski to Kedzie. On Ryan, heavy 87th to 79th, Cermak to the Burn Circle. 19 minutes, 95th to downtown. Bishop Ford, heavy, 115th to the Verge. 28 minutes now, 80-94 to the Ryan. I-57 is okay, tollways as well. Southbound I-65, delays from State Road 2 to the Kankakee River Bridge after a rollover crash. Right lane. Traffic is also a service of Audible. Stay motivated, informed, and entertained with the power of audiobooks. Listen anytime, anywhere with the Audible app. Start a 30-day trial. Your first one is free. Just go to audible.com. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Thank you, Jim. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. Heavy fog this morning. A dense fog advisory is up until 9 a.m. Little rain this afternoon and a high of 43. Overcast and cold, low 25. Currently 38. Next news at 6. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Listen to AM 560 on your mobile device. Now available on iHeartRadio. Online at iHeartRadio.com.
If you're talking about it, I'll be talking about it. Dennis Prager here. Join me this morning at 11, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. We're talking about that awful shooting in Florida yesterday. High school, 17 dead, 15 hospitalized. The shooter, a 19-year-old former student, in custody. And, of course, the debate revisited, the same debate we had after Newtown and the same and similar debates after we've had that we've had after other mass shootings. Think Las Vegas, of course.
Right, but in this case, everybody knew this kid, and a lot of people knew that he was going to do this. Next gen. Okay. Hold on one second.
When I was in the vocational school, the alternative school, he went ahead and showed me all his layout of guns and said that how he used to just shoot them around for fun.
He's just always been a really crazy kid. And I heard some people say that one day he would have done this, and unfortunately I think that was today.
And the FBI, someone called the FBI a few months ago and said, hey, check out this YouTube posting where he's bragging about becoming a mass school shooter. So I just, and then all the Instagram pictures are him holding up knives and guns and.
Well,
How can we stop this?
Well, there are certainly questions about if people did communicate with law enforcement about their concern about this kid. What was that response? What's that process? What's that protocol? We've had, of course, in the incidents where we've had terrorists commit atrocities, the Boston Marathon bombers, for example. We have had people, I'm not blaming law enforcement, but they've slipped through the cracks. Can law enforcement get better, particularly if and when people do notify them? It's just also a conversation about school security.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not. He shot 5 people before he went inside that school. They're saying they're investigating, but we had one a police officer saying that he shot a security guard to get into the school.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But what about social media police? I mean, can we have
social media police?
Yes, all their job is to go through Facebook, go through Instagram, pull out these crazies or identify them so that they can't purchase a weapon or more weapons. I mean, if you look, there's so many pictures of him with knives, 3 knives here, 2 knives, a gun, bragging that he's shooting animals. Because, remember, when you start with small animals, then it leads to people.
Lucy in Lowell, Indiana, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
The thing that sticks out in my mind about this school shooting is the connection with the FBI. Here we have the FBI investigating and not doing anything again. You got the FBI doing all kinds of things across the United States, and they're not really it seems like they're letting things slide.
Dragging their heels.
Thanks for the call, Lucy. Well, let's pull back for a second. Just when we talk about terror investigations into suspected terrorists, there's investigations the FBI is conducting in every single state. Comey put the number last year at north of 1,000. And then, in terms of trying to manage the tips that the FBI gets and separate the bad leads from those leads that are related to a serious concern. I mean, again, if there was engagement, if there was investigation, if protocols were not followed, if protocols need to be improved, those are all legitimate questions. But I think you want to restrain yourself from pointing blame at the FBI or any other law enforcement at this stage with how little we know about who said what to whom. Yeah. Greg in Schaumburg.
Whenever we go through these mornings, one solution that is never touched upon seriously is the need for some kind of spiritual or morality-based training within schools. And I'd like to put that on the table this morning, that what's going on here throughout our entire society is an absolute negation of fear of the Lord. And if that were present in someone's psyche, it has to have some kind of an effect. And the way in which I would recommend it be done is that it be done with drama, creative drama, because you can embed spiritual messages that are not indicative of anybody's particular, denominational faith within drama. And it just really opens up kids' hearts and gets them to empathize with each other. Thanks.
All right. Thanks for the call, Greg. Here's the culture in K through 12 education. Did you see the story out of Philadelphia? If Michael and his classmates his 32 classmates in 8th grade make it to graduation with no physical altercations, each gets a $100 bill. The school this elementary school is paying kids not to fight.
Maybe I should implement that in my home.
Yeah. Okay. Is that the way that you institute discipline and incentivize peace?
When you were going to school, did you ever worry about getting shot?
No.
Did you? I worried about tornadoes, fire drills. We'd do fire drills. Now they do active shooting drills.
You had to worry about the Red Scare in the 50s. You had to do those drills.
The drills, yeah.
Yeah.
No, but
right under your desk.
So they do tornado drills, fire drills, and then they do active shooting drills where they're all run to the closet and they get whatever they can to protect vital organs. Put a book on your chest, something over your head to protect yourself, and remain quiet. So that's their reality. But I don't want that to be their new reality.
Oh, I agree. But so what changed? How did we go from the halcyon days of my matriculation to armed guards and schools on lockdown and metal detectors and the like? What happened? Something must have happened, right? This is a change. We're describing something that didn't used to be that is now. So what are the underlying
according
causes?
to Steve Kerr, Golden State Warriors, former Chicago Bull, he blames the government. He says last night before their game, he said, it doesn't seem to matter to our government that children are being shot to death day after day in schools. It doesn't matter that people are being shot at a concert, at a movie theater. It's not enough, apparently, to move our leadership, our government, the people who are running this country to actually do anything. That's demoralizing.
Yeah. I mean, Steve Kerr's a basketball coach, and he's a goof when he talks about public policy. And this is the first time that he's waded into politics.
Well, what the left needs to know is that there's there are gun laws already on the books, but bad people don't follow the law.
Well, what is the government should do something? Be specific, Steve Kerr, or anybody else with an opinion.
Well,
Be
a
specific.
lot of people want the AR-15 taken off the market. Currently, the 8 million Americans have AR-15s that they have purchased legally. But
right, we're going to put toothpaste back in the tube. Okay.
It's a product that kills, so why not take it off the market if there's something else out there that kills?
Like a car? Ken in Plainfield.
Yeah, you had mentioned security. My question is, why aren't there armed guards? This is becoming such a problem. The one senator mentioned other countries. Other countries have armed guards. They have people trained to use weapons to take down a shooter like this. I don't know if that's the best answer, but for right now, it might be the only answer. And real quick, in regards to the other thing, what changed? When I grew up, we had Pong. Now I watch my kids play Call of Duty all night. I think there's just a basic disrespect for life that's, come in through the generations.
Ken, I had Pong too. Beep.
Thanks
beep,
for the call,
beep.
Ken.
And now he's so right. All they do is play Call of Duty, and then there's this Fortnite now that they're playing, and they play with other kids where they're just shooting and killing people for hours on end.
Yeah, but millions and millions of kids play Call of Duty, and very few open fire. Well, and adults too, and very few open fire in a school. The easy answers. It's video games. It's guns. It's bad influences and the instrumentality of evil. We're just going to ban bad influences, and we're going to ban the instrumentalities of evil. That's what people immediately go to, especially politicians or dingbats like Steve Kerr. Yeah, you think so? You really think that's the answer? Okay. Steve and Gary here on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, nobody really wants to talk about this. I believe the key to all of this is the psychotropic drugs that these killers are on. I read somewhere where they did a survey of psychology students that were, people that were planning on going into the field of psychiatrists, psychologists, and they said, why did you pick this field? And they said, well, it's because I'm trying to figure out why I'm like this. So you have a bunch of nuts out there, prescribing drugs
over-medicated
to
kids.
other nuts.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Steve. The issue of over-medicating kids, although I haven't seen anything about whether this kid was on antidepressants or other psychotropic drugs. I don't know.
Yeah, we don't know yet.
Jim in Waukegan.
Yeah, you just mentioned it, the antidepressant drugs. You'll find out he was on them. I'll put money on it. All of these pet shooters, same thing.
All right, thanks, Jim. I mean, I think that's an issue, and so all of these are aspects of an issue. I think we're talking around at video games and kids being over-medicated. I mean, they're all legitimate issues to discuss, but do they get to the source 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro. Answer line, Craig in Mount Greenwood.
Yeah, Dan and Amy, this is no mystery to a lot of people that realize what's already been charted. The date and what caused it is 1962. They threw God out of school. There's going to be no more prayer in school. There's nothing. And you can watch it. You can see the chart of how different the activities and the problems in schools followed exactly right up from there, and then with all the different things going on. And it's thing about the drugs, that's a part of it. That whole thing with the drugs and antidepressants. These kids are being taught that they're animals. There's no God. There's no heaven. There's no hell. There's no reason to live for today. There's no tomorrow. These kids are being turned into like animals in their minds. In their minds, there's nothing. And the fellow that's called up about having some type of spiritual thing in schooling, bullseye. These kids are learning everything but. They're learning all kinds. They're getting poisoned. Our kids are getting destroyed in the school system. There's a God we were made. You take a look at your eyeballs and your ears and your organs and the gift of healing and all the different things. And there's a God out there. I mean, and I know people who God is or what God is, but our kids are being destroyed because of this. It's
Thanks,
this government school. Yeah.
Thanks, Greg. Appreciate it. Tom in Deer Park.
I don't know if we'll ever nail down the causes, and if we could prevent the causes by the various bans, things like you said, the toothpaste back in the tube, things like that. I just have a thought. It's not original, but the notion that I can protect my home with a firearm, and a bad guy knows that I may or may not be able to protect my home. Same with my vehicle, same with the business owner, and same with plenty of other entities where there may or may not be people in that entity that are willing and ready to protect themselves. And I just think that it's unfair and very politically driven why teachers that wish to carry a firearm or have one at their desk or in a locker or all over the place that wish to and that are trained are not allowed to do so. I think that notion would possibly prevent somebody from running headlong into an area like a church that's got a sticker on it that says no legal firearms here, which tells a bad guy one thing. There's no legal firearms in there, just bad guys like me.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Tom.
I don't know. I mean, he had a gas mask on. He pulled the fire alarm. He had smoke bombs with him. It was a cold and calculated, sinister plan to get people out of their classrooms and into the hallway. That's where he picked them off.
Yeah.
And he still then, after that, then went into classrooms and started shooting people.
Ray in Arlington Heights.
Hey, guys. I have a three-pronged thing. First of all, I believe that parents need to teach responsibility for gun safety. I believe that God is absent from these homes, and I believe that they need to have teachers with armed guns, like you said, in these schools.
All right, thanks, Ray.
All right.
You're listening to Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Selling your home, get ready with Mike McCarthy. 708-945-2121. 708-945-2121.
Ready to sell your real estate? Call me, Mike McCarthy, at Century 21 Affiliated. With over $1 billion in closed sales since 1999, I have a proven marketing plan that works. Clients like my straightforward, no-nonsense approach in positioning properties to sell. I offer accurate evaluations, saving you time, money, and unnecessary stress. Together, with my skilled team of associates and over 25 local Chicagoland offices, we help guide you through the process and get you sold. Call today, 708-945-2121. I look forward to earning your business and selling your home.
Selling your home, get ready with Mike McCarthy. 708-945-2121. 708-945-2121.
Message and data rates may apply. Warranty good as long as you own your mattress. Details at nectarsleep.com.
When we told the mattress industry we were going to create the most comfy mattress the world had ever seen, they said, no way. And when we said we'd offer our memory foam mattress at a price that's hundreds less than the showrooms, they said, yeah, right. So we went one step further and said, we'll let customers enjoy it for a full 365 nights with free no-hassle returns. They said, you're crazy. And when they said, what else are you going to do, offer a warranty forever? We said, that sounds like a great idea. We're Nectar, and we make the mattress that's keeping the mattress industry up at night. Enjoy a better night's sleep with a better mattress and even better value. For $125 off our already low price, plus 2 free Nectar pillows, text COZY to 234234 or go to nectarsleep.com. Text COZY to 234234. COZY to 234234. Nectar for sweet, sweet sleep.
Good morning. Where are you? Are you at home currently trying to get all 3 kids ready for school? Are you in the car on your way to work, stuck in traffic and dreaming of being on an island vacation? Are you at the gym trying not to make awkward eye contact with that person you kinda sorta know? Wherever you are, Calitrin will fit into your daily routine and help you achieve your weight loss goals.
My name is Jessica. I'm from the state of Texas. I lost 50 pounds, and I take it every night to help me sleep, and I feel I'm better rested in the morning after I've taken it.
This is Richard, and I was on Calitrin, and I lost right at 23 pounds and dropped one of my blood pressure medicines, so I think it's a great product.
Hi, my name is Jenny, and I have lost a total of 29 pounds. Calitrin is the only weight loss product that has worked for me.
Calitrin, the #1 choice for healthy weight loss for over 20 years.
Calitrin. Visit us at toploss.com or call 1-800-325-4366 to learn about exclusive offers.
Don't forget that you can watch Chicago's Morning Answer on the Income Store live video stream every morning at 560theanswer.com.
5:57 and a check of your morning ride to work. In the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center, here's Jim.
Thanks, Mike. We're now seeing delays on the inbound Kennedy. It's heavy from the River Road toll to Canfield and Alston to Central. 22 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound 21. Eden's still fine. The Eisenhower's delays, Mannheim to Harlem. 34 minutes, 390 to downtown, outbound 30. Stevenson, 46 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 5 to 34. Ryan, 24 minutes, 95 to downtown. I-57's fine. Bishop Ford, really bottled up. 130th to merge. It's 36 minutes, 80-94 to Ryan. Tollways are okay. Southbound I-65 heavy. State Road 2 to the Kankakee River Bridge. There was a crash there. That fog is reducing speeds and visibilities. Traffic. Service of Audible. Stay motivated, informed, and entertained through the power of audiobooks. Listen anytime, anywhere with the Audible app. Start a 30-day trial. Your first one is free. Just go to audible.com. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues after a full update from Fox News and your official Chicagoland weather forecast with meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Dense fog advisory in effect for the morning. Cloudy day with areas of morning fog and some drizzle, followed by a little rain in the afternoon, high 43. Tonight, overcast and colder, low 25. Then a colder day, clouds give way to sun tomorrow, high 28. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
Currently, we have 38 at O'Hare, 41 along the lakefront, and a dense fog advisory up until 9 a.m. The news, a service of Accountemps, finding highly skilled accounting and finance professionals can be a challenge. Accountemps can help. With Accountemps' extensive network of accounting and finance contractors, you can be sure to find the right person for your exact hiring needs. Visit Accountemps.com to learn more. Accountemps, a Robert Half company. 5:59, here are the stories we're following on AM 560, The Answer. Foggy conditions are making travel a problem around Chicagoland this morning, and that will stay in place until around 9 a.m. 1-year-old boy is in serious condition following a fire on Chicago's South Side overnight. 4-time felon charged with murder in the death of Chicago Police Commander Paul Bauer. Shomari Leggett is due in court later today. Governor Rauner pushing for extensive changes in public pension systems and cuts to employee health care as keys to his $38 billion balanced budget. And Illinois has a new Legionnaires outbreak, this time at the Chester Mental Health Center in southern Illinois. Raptors beat the Bulls last night, 122-98. Blackhawks host the Ducks tonight. More Dan and Amy after Fox News. WIND Chicago News Time is 6 o'clock.
He died a hero. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. That's what a tweet this morning from the Douglas Stoneham High School football team says about Aaron Feist, the first victim identified in yesterday's shooting spree in Florida. He was shot while shielding students. That's the gunfire, recorded by a student as it happened. 17 people were killed, 15 more wounded.
There was blood and gunpowder and bodies just all over the place.
They flipped over desks. They hid in closets. They listened to that gunfire as Nicholas Cruz, the accused gunman in this case, first shot outside the school, then shot his way into the school, pulling the fire alarm, causing them to pour out of those classrooms before they realized what was happening.
Fox's Caroline Shively outside that school in Parkland, Florida. Fox's Evan Brown has more on the accused gunman, Cruz, live from Broward County.
Dave, suspected shooter Nicholas Cruz is now in a jail cell in Broward.
Absolutely pure evil.
Florida Governor Rick Scott outside Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High last night. Investigators have yet to reveal a motive for the attack, but we do know Cruz once attended the school. He was expelled because he was considered a threat. In his final weeks there, they wouldn't even let him bring a backpack. Eyewitnesses inside the school during the shooting say Cruz was not just armed, but was wearing a gas mask and may have had smoke bombs, Dave.
And Evan Cruz had posted pictures of guns and knives on social media. Some students say he was weird, kept to himself.
One death is too many.
Democratic Florida Senator Bill Nelson among those calling for stricter gun laws. House Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi said enough is enough, but Republican Senator Marco Rubio, also from Florida, says we should learn the facts first before pushing for some law that could have prevented it. This as senators will again today debate the immigration reform plan, trying to find a compromise to shield immigrants brought here illegally as kids. Fox News, fair and balanced.
Our nation is deeply divided. Gone are the days when civil discourse bridged the gap between the two sides. If we'll ever find common ground, we must get beyond the talking points. AM 560, The Answer, is bringing together two of America's sharpest political minds from opposite sides of the aisle to do just that. It's Beyond the Talking Points with Dan Proft and Donna Brazil on Thursday, March 22nd. Proft and Brazil will go head-to-head, tackling the big issues facing our nation. Tickets are on sale now at 560theanswer.com/beyond.
Watch today's show live right now on the Income Store live video stream at 560theanswer.com.
All money managers may seem pretty much the same. But while some money managers may recommend high commission investment products, Fisher Investments avoids them. Some money managers may have hidden and layered fees. Fisher Investments never does. And while some money managers are happy to earn commissions from you, whether you do well or not, Fisher Investments fees are structured so we do better when you do better. In other words, we're structured to be on your side. Maybe that's why most of our clients come to us from other money managers. Talk with us and find out why so many experienced investors are switching to and staying with Fisher Investments. Fisher Investments, clearly better money management. Investments in securities involve the risk of loss. Visit us at FisherInvestments.com to find out what we can do for you.
In business, you need smart storage solutions. For over 50 years, Bradford Systems has been the company Chicago turns to, specializing in commercial storage, filing systems, document management solutions, casework, and locker systems. Whether it's working with you to incorporate better storage elements into a historic building, creating a completely new workspace for your business, or even digitizing paper documents, Bradford Systems is there every step of the process. Their experienced digital solutions team will support your enterprise content management and business process outsourcing initiatives. Bradford Systems guarantees you'll have the exact storage solution you need, within budget and completed on time. Learn more at bradfordsystems.com or call 800-580-9151. That's 800-580-9151. Bradford Systems is a proud supporter of AM 560 and Food for the Poor. Let Bradford Systems show you and your business smart storage solutions. Call now for a free consultation. 800-580-9151. As a business owner, you have hundreds of decisions to make on a daily basis. It's beyond needing to pay bills, keeping employees happy, or what the next step is to grow your business. Part of your stress can be making sure you're protected in a time of crisis. Can you trust that your insurance provider is going to be there when you need them most? When you're looking for a partner who's there for you in your most desperate times, call Insure with us. You won't have to wait on hold to talk to an agent who's unfamiliar with your policy. Speak directly to who wrote your policy when you have any urgent question or need. Don't hesitate. Get it done today. Get a free quote in less than 24 hours at lowcostinsurance.biz. Choose from dozens of top insurers across the U.S. Insure with Us focuses on finding you the best coverage for your business and for your family. Visit them today at lowcostinsurance.biz. Insure with Us. Coverage for the things that matter most.
Message and data rates may apply.
You don't follow the herd. You blaze your own trail. And you're as adventurous in the kitchen as you are in life. Whether it's paddleboard yoga or Peruvian steak, you're the first to try new things. So are we. We're Green Chef, the first USDA-certified organic meal kit delivery service. We offer delicious meal plans for 7 different lifestyles: paleo, gluten-free, keto, vegetarian, vegan, carnivore, and omnivore. Want to be the first of your friends to try Green Chef? Discover our exclusive introductory deal by texting the keyword BITE to 543-543. We believe that cooking, just like life, should be all about experience and flavor. And by exploring dinner options with Green Chef, you'll try new recipes, techniques, and ingredients for bold, new restaurant-level flavors. It's like enjoying a new cooking class, but in your own home. To experience this culinary adventure, text now and discover our exclusive introductory deal. Text BITE to 543-543. That's BITE to 543-543.
This hourly segment is brought to you by The Lou Bridges Show, a show about the greatest financial crime in history. Saturday mornings at 8 on AM 560, The Answer.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. I want to update you on the story of Commander Paul Bauer. Obviously, this is the 18th District Commander that was shot and killed outside the Thompson Center on Tuesday. One nice thing about this terrible story, yesterday there was a vigil held outside the 18th District. I know the way I initially found out about that is the management company who managed my building sent out an email to us all inviting us to
that's nice.
the vigil. So that was one of the ways that word got around. Yeah, exactly.
And thousands of people came, and it's just, everybody is crying.
I felt really bad for the family, and I just, made a card.
We just have to remember how sad and tragic it is for his daughter and his wife and each and every person that worked with him on the police department and each and every person that might have been helped by this man had he lived.
And he did help people. He had, he was a community leader, and he would have coffee with the commander, not just for, that TV segment he did, but every week. He would always meet with the citizens, and he loved Chicago. He personified this great city that we live in.
It's encouraging. It was encouraging to see the turnout for that vigil. That's a nice message to send from the people to the police. Considering that's sort of a rarity these days, so that was very encouraging and a deserved tribute to Bauer and his family.
And he was a church-going man. They said every Sunday he was always at church.
You would see Paul and Aaron and Grace, every Sunday like clockwork, walking to church. The parishioners loved him.
And it is there at that church, Nativity of Our Lord Church, on 653 West 37th Street. That's where his wake will be on Friday. It's open to the public. His funeral service is Saturday at 10 a.m., but that is closed. That's just for police officers, family, and friends and dignitaries.
And, of course, the killer, the shooter, has been identified, and he is going to be arraigned today.
Yes. I don't even want to say his name.
Neither do I.
Jet, whatever. But he's had a 24-year history with police, from drugs to armed robbery. And this is what happened that day. It was around 2 o'clock when Bauer valiantly decided to get involved, and he was trying to take down Leggett at the top of the stairwell at the Thompson Center, and the two got into a physical fight at the top of the stairwells. They both fell down the stairs, and that's when Leggett fired 7 shots. He had an extended magazine, which I've always hated those, and the commander never even had a chance to reach for his gun to fire back. So, yes, he's going to be arraigned today.
And at the top of the 8 o'clock hour, we're going to talk to Joe Ahern. Our friend Joe Ahern is the executive director of the 100 Club of Chicago. This is the organization that aids families of fallen officers and first responders. And so Joe will be able to give us an update on how Bauer's family is doing.
But keep them in your prayers. I mean, he leaves his daughter, Grace, 13 years old, just was beside herself. I mean, the family's obviously still trying to process this, and so are their friends. But, I mean, honestly, by all accounts, a cop's cop, just a great guy. We have a lot of people that listen to the show. A lot of people, our friends, our police officers, are really hurting today, and they will be for a long time with, him not being in this world.
This is the morning show more Chicago radio listeners are choosing. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Fog this morning in areas of drizzle, and we'll have rain this afternoon, but still unseasonably warm, a high of 43 degrees. Tonight, a low of 25. And for Friday, yes, Friday's here tomorrow. It'll be colder with clouds giving way to sun, a high only in the upper 20s. Let's get in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Amy and Dan. We are seeing heavier traffic now on some of the expressways and tollways. We're also seeing delays on I-65 on the northbound side from 153rd Avenue to past 231 in Crown Point. There's a crash there. And southbound, farther south, we still have delays. State Road 2 to the Kankakee River Bridge after an earlier collision. Eden's Expressway is looking good at the moment in both directions. Kennedy inbound heavy out of the River Road to Central. 24 minutes O'Hare to downtown, outbound 22. On Eisenhower, 35 minutes, 390 to downtown, outbound 30. Stevenson, heavy Lamont Road to Cass, First Avenue to Kedzie, 46 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Ryan is 28 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 17 minutes, 80 to the Merge. Bishop Ford, 35 minutes, 80-94 to the Rhine. Eastbound Adams Tollway's heavy for the Tri-State River Road Toll. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Did you hear Donna Brazile on Real Time with Bill Maher last Friday night? No, because who watches that? Neither did I, but I'm told that she was trying to explain to Anthony Scaramucci, the Mooch, why Donald Trump won't be reelected in 2020. I'll be curious to hear her explanation when I sit down across from Donna Brazile on Thursday, March 22nd at the Meadows Club in Rolling Meadows. It's beyond the talking points. Donna and I will tackle all of the big issues: immigration, alleged Russian collusion, healthcare, Trump's reelection prospects. It's all on the table, and it's happening live, and I want you in the audience. Tickets start at just $29. Get yours today. Just go to 560answer.com/beyond, 560answer.com/beyond. Sponsored in part by AM Woodland Outdoor Design and by 1-800-4-BLIND-CHICAGO, blinds, shades, and shutters.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I'm Mark Gastineau. I played in the NFL for 10 years. I was diagnosed with CTE, with dementia, Alzheimer's, and Parkinson's. The fruits and vegetables that we take from Balance of Nature is the best thing that we could ever do. And I'm calling in now to order extra because of my wife has been taking mine because she sees a difference in me. It is a wonderful thing that Balance of Nature is doing. I hear the testimonies on the radio, but I'm a testimony for myself. And the fruits and vegetables, if I don't take them every single day, my day is not going to go the same. So God bless you, and thank you for what you've done for my wife and I.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first month's order and ship it to you free. Call 800-246-8751 or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
On AM 560 The Answer, we talk about the important issues that affect your world. Things like the economy, education, and foreign policy. There's always so much going on in the news that we don't always have the time to focus in and talk about the big ideas behind the important issues. Enter Upstream Ideas online at upstream-ideas.com. Upstream Ideas, in partnership with the Illinois Opportunity Project, provides the kind of information that informs the policy discussions happening here on AM 560. At Upstream Ideas, you'll broaden the debate, move beyond partisan assumptions, and challenge accepted beliefs. Upstream Ideas goes against the current and thinks upstream. Go online now at upstream-ideas.com. That's upstream-ideas.com. You'll be armed with new information and fresh perspectives to help encourage you to make the state of Illinois and the United States of America a bit freer, a bit more just, and a bit more civilized. Upstream-ideas.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, just a point of order on the the killing of murder of police commander Paul Bauer. This is a four-time felon. Four-time felon, spent almost 2 decades in prison, being arraigned today. He had a gun.
Yeah, how did he get that gun?
Felons aren't allowed to own guns.
Right, he didn't abide by the gun laws already in the books. They are processing. ATF has taken, custody of that weapon to see whether it was stolen, whether it was, straw purchase, what happened with that. Also, I do want to tell you this, though. Superintendent Johnson has pledged to Commander Bauer's family that he's going to step in for him and take his young daughter to school every day moving forward. And if there's a daughter-daddy dance, that he'll help out, which is very sweet.
Well, it's too bad the daughter-daddy dances are banned now.
Not everywhere.
Not gender inclusive. They will be. Dave in Racine, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yes, at the murder of Commander Paul Bauer, he was the offender was I don't want to use his name, was a non-violent drug offender. He had crack cocaine, heroin, and marijuana on him, and there was I think the original police interaction was due to drug dealing in the Illinois Center.
No, that's State and Wacker, but yeah,
or State and Wacker, but
yeah.
But like I say, getting some of these from other stations and such. My bad. The thing is, it's again a case of a non-violent drug offender. I think they're not so violent, and that's maybe why they should be locked up, because usually those gun charges and other things are the first to be dismissed when a drug trafficker.
So wait, so you're suggesting that I just want to understand you. The characterization of this guy as a nonviolent drug offender by the media doesn't exactly tell the story. Is that what you're getting to?
Exactly, and that maybe when we hear that canard from the soft on crime people, that little canard of non-violent drug offender is not so often so true.
Yeah, right. Thanks for the call, Dave. Yeah, when you're engaged in illegal activity, you don't have, say, access to the courts for dispute resolution. Illegal activity, violence is often attendant to it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a fair point.
I don't know if you saw this, but the building overlooking the Thompson Center, the people put notes in the window that said "Thank you, CPD," taped to the windows.
Well, yeah, it's tough stuff. And again, we're going to talk to Joe Ahern about who's interacted with the Bauer family. Joe Ahern, the executive director of the 100 Club of Chicago. We'll talk to him at the top of the 8 o'clock hour. Turn our attention back to that Florida school shooting. Again,
it's getting better.
17 dead and 15 injured. And the shooter, a former student, 19 years old, in custody, being charged today with 17 counts of premeditated murder. And, I mean, this is the scene. It's tough stuff, but one of the kids in the school was capturing what was happening in real time with their phone, and this is what it was like to be a kid huddled in the classroom.
Holy Oh my God! Oh my God!
One teacher interviewed by CNN who was teaching in that classroom where the video was taken, she said after that they all ran into the closet. They blockaded the door. No one in that classroom was killed, but it was right outside their door. And this madman put on a gas mask.
And by the way,
smoke bombs pulled the fire alarm, and then so people would run out into the hallways.
The bullets, though, came through into that classroom, because you can see on the phone, that captured it, bullet holes in the computer screen not far from where the kids are, sitting on the floor.
And parents, it was hell for parents, and you could see, I mean, all the parents, of course, you run to the school because you're trying to find your kid, but they were also receiving text messages.
She was sending us texts like saying, I love you, I'm sorry, and all that, because she didn't think she was going to make it.
And there's one, he's a counterterrorism expert, Phil Mudd. I think he's been on our show actually before.
Yeah.
He was on with CNN.
Yeah,
and
he said some interesting things lately.
Yeah, but he could not keep it together.
I have 10 nieces and nephews. We're talking about bump stocks. We're talking about legislation. A child of God is dead. Cannot we acknowledge in this country that we cannot accept this? I can't do it, Wolf. I'm sorry. We can't do it.
Yeah. Oops. All right, we're going to get back to you, but you're obviously, this is so emotional. Unfortunately, it happens all too often.
Oh, real Wolf Blitz. Wolf Blitzer does really well when emotions are raw like that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, we'll get back to you.
And the award for the dumbest thing said, in the wake of that heinous, murderous rampage yesterday, that award goes to Chris Hayes, the Rachel Maddow impersonator over at MSNBC, who tweeted this: "Is the White House really hiding behind a school shooting so they don't have to answer questions about a host of scandals of the administration? Kind of looks like that's what's happening." But you know what we need to do? We need to come together. We need to sit down and let's figure out a way to be unified with the Chris Hayeses of the world.
I mean, what else was President Trump tweeted out my prayers and condolences to the families of the victims of the terrible Florida shooting. No child teacher or anyone else should ever feel unsafe in an American school.
Why are we so divided? Why are things so polarized? Golly gee, I don't know, Chris. Why don't you tell me? Bill in Crown Point, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Good morning, guys. How are you this morning?
Morning.
So, Amy, I got to reach out to you, girl. I have to ask, is the AR-15 or whatever the device that you put into question you want banned, is that the problem, or is it the person utilizing that device?
Well, it's been used. Well, the AR-15's been used in the Las Vegas shooting, the Pulse nightclub shooting, the Aurora Theater shooting. No, I'm not done. Sandy Hook shooting.
Okay, but is it the AR-15 that's the problem, or is it the person using the AR-15?
It's the person using it, of course. But why have them have access to that?
You put that AR-15 on the table, you put it on the porch, you put that AR-15, you put anything out there that is considered dangerous, unless you've got a person behind that device, I think you need to redirect where your problem is at. The gun is not the problem. It's the person using the gun. What laws on the books right now would have prevented this problem? We have a 17-year-old child that is in possession of a gun, period. How did that happen?
Well, he was 19.
That's the problem.
Well, he was 19 years old, and he bought the gun legally. According to law enforcement, they say that he passed the firearms background check last year.
Here's kind of just a general question about this, because everybody wants to do something. Should we be focused on the government? This is the government needs to do something, or should we be focused on parents and adults? The parents and adults need to do something. I'm talking about in private civic life, as well as your private familial life. Where should the focus be? Government do something. Parents and civic leaders of civic institutions do something. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. Ann in Chicago.
Hello?
Hi, Ann, you're on.
Oh, good morning. Yeah, I can't process the school right now because I'm processing the death of Paul Bauer.
Mm-hmm.
It reminds me of something else. In the middle of a square with hundreds of witnesses, you see the death of a good man. It aroused the whole city. Everybody's crying. It reminds me, if Chicago doesn't change, if it doesn't wake up, it reminds me of a story long time ago where they witnessed an innocent man being killed by violent people. And they didn't care if he was a commander. They didn't care if he was a messiah. They just killed him. And this is what it reminds me of, Paul Bauer.
All right, thanks, Ann. Steve on the south side.
Hey, good morning, Dan. I really think all these parents that think it's the government's responsibility to teach their kids this and keep them safe and do this and do that, I think all these parents should have their kids taken away and the government should take care of them. Because obviously they don't feel capable, they don't feel in control, and it's not their responsibility. It's the government's responsibility. Thanks.
Thanks for the call, Steve.
Well, we keep in mind, too, this 19-year-old He was adopted. His dad died 13 years ago. His mom recently died in November from the flu, actually. And so he was living with a neighbor who took him in, and that neighbor has given police the keys to their house, said go, do whatever you need to do. They have a gun safe. They gave them the code to the safe, check everything out. We knew nothing about what was about to happen, and here's the family's attorney.
Nothing to indicate that anything like this was pending. Showed no harm or malice towards anyone at that high school. Never mentioned anything like that he had any problems with anybody there. They totally don't know where this came from.
The family handed over their cell phones just to say that they had no idea this was going to happen.
Well, yeah, different students saying different things about the shooter. Different people had different impressions about this guy and whether he was just, odd and a bit of a social misfit or he was dangerous. You've heard opinions of both. We know that he was suspended for disciplinary issues. Yeah. Expelled for disciplinary issues, but we don't know the specifics.
Well, they said he was threatening kids. That's why they expelled him.
Yeah, okay.
And his digital life was just sinister and crazy. I mean, he put, I want to shoot people with my AR-15. I want to die fighting, killing blank ton of people. I want to kill law enforcement one day. They go after the good people.
Mm-hmm.
And he was captured a mile away from the school and hanging out in this community, and he was, taken down without incident.
And there's questions too. Again, the reporting of this often turns out to be wrong in the immediacy of it. So, we're reporting what we understand to be true. We'll correct it as needed. But there was also suggestions that people had tipped off law enforcement, including the FBI, about this kid being a threat.
According to CBS News this morning, they said that the FBI was investigating him because somebody saw a YouTube posting that he made, or video that he made that was posted on YouTube, where he was bragging and saying that he's going to be the biggest school shooter in America.
Cindy and Joliet, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hi. I just wanted to say, my son had gotten into some trouble when he was in college selling marijuana, and he was on probation, not from campus police, but from law enforcement. Mm-hmm. And he was ordering AR parts online. And when I realized what he was doing, the packages that were coming to the house when he was home on summer break, I said, what is all this? What are you doing here? Oh, I'm building an AR-15. I said, a what? Now, this is a kid that's a straight A kid, 33 on his ACT, never got a phone call from a kindergarten teacher, let alone any high school issues. He's a working individual now. He's got his degree, all the good stuff that parents raise their kids to have. But he loves his AR, and I can't even tell you how it turns my stomach that he has it. He was able to order it while he was on probation, the parts, and couldn't get the final piece of it that made it a bona fide weapon until he got off of probation and he could get his FOID card. And while the parts were in my house, I almost went to fisticuffs with this kid, and he's over 6 feet tall, and I'm not that big. Mm-hmm. But I packed up all the pieces and put them out of the house to somebody else's house that had a FOID. And he argued with me, Mom, you can have these parts, you don't need a FOID, blah, blah, blah. I mean, he knows all the gun laws. And for the life of me still, I'll go to my grave, and I'll never know why he has that gun.
Well, do you think he's going to do something sinister with it?
No, I don't, Amy. I don't, because he's well-balanced. He is a brilliant kid. He's got a great job. There's nothing that you would say that this kid should have or even have the desire to have had this type of weapon. The age I am, I grew up with a .357 Magnum on my father's dresser, and we knew never to touch it. So it's not like I'm against the Second Amendment. Back in the day, I went hunting myself and learned how to handle a weapon. But this AR-15 thing just digs in my side like no other, because it is such it's a fatality waiting to happen. And he, he goes out shooting with his friends, and it's a real big thing with the millennials to have these weapons and just to have them. It's not like he's believing there's going to be an insurrection or anarchy. I mean, he's not a whack job. He is not a
Well,
whack job. And
well,
there's no
well,
pieces
Yeah.
in his psyche that point to that. But I don't know why these kids have to have these damn guns like this. And
Thanks.
I rue, personally, Dan, I know you don't believe this, but I rue the day that Xbox came into my house. I have to tell you.
Okay.
Yep,
Well,
yeah,
I'm.
I took mine down again last night.
It desensitizes kids too much.
All right. Thanks for the call, Cindy. Appreciate that. Jill in Chicago.
Hi, good morning. Thanks for taking my call. Listening, and just a few minutes ago, you had mentioned, is it private or parent responsibility or government? My question is, can't it be both civilly?
Well, yeah.
And
Sure.
And
But the question, I'm not talking about eliminating government. The question was, somebody should do something, and so my question is, should with laws on the books and so forth, which somebody and what should they do?
Well, and again, I'm probably middle of the road. I listen to you in the morning and the left in the afternoon, and my head spins at the end of the day. But we recently, with the tax cuts and the millions of dollars that we want to spend on a wall to protect us from Mexico, as ugly as this sounds, maybe we need to admit that, walls, not literally walls, but fences, maybe need to go around schools, because there are probably more deaths at our schools in the last 10 years than there are from immigrants that have entered illegally.
All right.
Thanks for taking my call.
Thanks for the call, Jill. Appreciate it.
Changing gears here, we would like to thank Dave Patterson for listening to AM 560 The Answer. Dave Patterson, thanks for making Chicago's Morning Answer and AM 560 part of your day.
All right, we'll pick up our conversation about the Florida school shooting and the implications after we check the news with Mike Scott.
40 degrees, skies are cloudy, and we have a dense fog advisory up until 9 a.m. The community of Parkland, Florida. Mourning the deaths of 17 killed in a high school shooting, a gunman with a rifle opening fire at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School. Wednesday afternoon, Broward County Sheriff Scott Israel.
They were saddened to say that 17 people lost their lives.
Among the dead are both students and adults. Over a dozen were injured. Lisa Copping explains how teachers help keep students safe.
She basically just tried to keep them calm and just to keep them safe. She said, try not to be on your phones. Let's keep it silent, because at that time the shooter was walking around and they didn't know where he was at that time,
19-year-old shooter fled the scene after the massacre, was later arrested. He faces 17 counts of premeditated murder. Former presidential nominee Mitt Romney will not be announcing a run for Senate today as expected. On Twitter, Romney said he will not be making that statement out of respect for victims of the shooting in South Florida. President Trump finally breaking his silence, commenting on domestic violence.
I am totally opposed to domestic violence of any kind. Everyone knows that, and it almost wouldn't even have to be said. So now you hear it.
He made the remarks during a White House photo op when reporters pressed him about the Rob Porter controversy. Top U.S. intelligence officials this morning warning people against using smartphones made by Chinese companies Huawei or ZTE. Members of the CIA and the Defense Intelligence Agency testifying before the Senate Intelligence Committee say that using those products made by those companies maybe using phones that are beholden to foreign governments and may put Americans' security at risk. The FBI says there's no indication that terrorism was a factor in a shooting outside the National Security Agency headquarters. In fact, it may be just a wrong turn that led security personnel to open fire when an unauthorized vehicle tried to enter the main gate at the campus. A 1-year-old boy is in serious condition following a fire on Chicago's South Side. The child among two rescued from a burning building last night near 56th and Damon. Four-time felon charged with murdering Chicago Police Commander Paul Bauer is due in court today. Shomari Leggett is accused of the shooting of the 31-year veteran officer on Tuesday. The leading Democrat in the race for Illinois governor says the current governor's budget fails. Candidate J.B. Pritzker yesterday saying that Governor Bruce Rauner is failing to introduce a truly balanced budget. Raptors over the Bulls. Last night, 122-98. Blackhawks battle the Ducks tonight. In the Big Ten, the Fighting Illini fall in Bloomington to Indiana, 78-68. The news, a service of Rocket Mortgage by Quicken. Rocket Mortgage is so simple, you can understand the details and be sure you're getting the right mortgage. Apply simply, understand fully, mortgage confidently. Visit rocketmortgage.com today. Licensed in all 50 states. Equal housing lender, NMLS number 3030. 6:35, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager believes kids should take a year before going to college.
I have advocated to parents that they not send their child to college right after high school. The ideal is to work for a year, especially as a waiter or waitress. I think that it has a built-in conservatism because reality is conservative.
The Dennis Prager Show, weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
See the nation's largest auto show at McCormick Place now through the 19th. Log on to ChicagoAutoShow.com for details and download the official Auto Show app.
The following is a paid political announcement.
I am not in charge. I'm trying to get to be in charge.
My name is Jeannie Ives, and I'm the conservative running against Bruce Rauner for governor. I'm an economic liberty, pro-family West Point grad. I've spent the last 5 years battling Chicago Democrats. I didn't think I'd have to spend so much time battling Bruce Rauner. But when Rauner betrayed conservative families, that's exactly what I did. Rauner made Illinois a sanctuary state. I voted against it. Rauner made you pay for abortions in all 9 months of pregnancy. I voted against it, and so did every other Republican legislator. Rauner took money from your schools to bail out the Chicago public schools. I voted against it. National Review has called Rauner the worst Republican governor in the country because he is. Rauner betrayed us. I honor who we are as conservatives. Rauner can't win re-election. He said he's not in charge. With your help, I'll lead the charge.
Paid for by Ives for Illinois.
Nobody should have to live with depression. Not anymore.
It's a new year. Time for a new you.
Abilify, Wellbutrin, Seroquel, Rexulti. These are common drugs prescribed for depression. You may be able to get off the drugs and the endless counseling. You've heard about the revolutionary TMS therapy.
Now it's time to get a free consultation from HPR centers.
End your frustration with life and relationships. In a few short weeks, your life will change. It's FDA cleared, safe, and it's covered by most insurance, including Blue Cross Blue Shield and Medicare. TMS therapy treats the cause of your depression. Millions have been treated. The results, nothing short of outstanding. HPR centers are proud to bring TMS therapy to Chicagoland and Milwaukee.
You need to take the first step. Call.
The war on depression is over.
You win.
HPR centers.
800-604-0208. 800-604-0208.
Go to endmydepression.com.
6:38 and a check of the morning roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim.
Thanks, Mike. Visibilities are reduced with the fog. We have about 26 flight cancellations at Midway, 8 at O'Hare, plus some delays. Edens runs 27 minutes, Lake Cook Junction, outbound 19. Kennedy, 32 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound 29. The Eisenhower is now 51 minutes, 390, Burns Circle, outbound 34 minutes. Stevenson, 56 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. To Ryan, 30 minutes, 95th to downtown. Bishop Ford, 40 minutes, 8094 to the merge. Northbound Tri-State delays, 111th to LaGrange Road, Plainfield Road to 31st after the Reagan Tollway to the Eisenhower. Adams Tollway Heavy Golf to Arlington Heights Road after a medical emergency. Westbound Indiana Toll Road slow past Grant Klein, crash in the right lane. Traffic, service, Staples. Let Staples help you this tax season with everything you need for less. From storage boxes and filing supplies, software like QuickBooks and TurboTax. Right now, get up to $15 off when you buy TurboTax. Ends 2/17/18. Excludes TurboTax Basic. Staples, it's Pro Time. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. Foggy, dense fog advisory up until 9 a.m. A little drizzle in the air, so beware of that. High near 43. Overcast and much colder overnight. A low of 25. Currently 39 in fog. Next news at 7. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Advanced Planning Advisors, bringing you Smart Money Talk with Mike Moylan and Rob Curvin, Saturday mornings at 6.
Hey, Joe Walsh here. If we cared about kids, schools in this country would not be gun-free zones. We'll talk about it when Freedom returns at 5.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Picking up our conversation about that massacre at the Florida high school. 17 dead, 15 in the hospital.
And we should say 5 of those, of the 15 in the hospital, are in extreme critical condition.
Yeah. And the shooter, of course, in custody. He will be charged with 17 counts of premeditated murder, at least today. In addition to that, we know a little bit about his background. You had various opinions from students who knew him from his time at the school prior to his expulsion.
Yeah, and some were not even surprised that this happened. He said it. He even made a YouTube posting that he was going to be a mass shooter.
When I was in the vocational school, the alternative school, he went ahead and showed me all his layout of guns and said that how he used to just shoot them around for fun.
He's just always been a really crazy kid. And I heard some people say that one day he would have done this, and unfortunately, I think that was today.
So he went back on Valentine's Day, on Ash Wednesday, went back to the school that he was expelled from and shot people. Had a gas mask on, smoke bombs, pulled the fire alarm to have mass casualties. Shot 5 people on the way into the school. I mean, he's mentally disturbed. But should somebody who's mentally disturbed, somebody who's expelled from school, get their hands on an AR-15? And please, Dan, help me, and anybody else, 312-642-5600 is our turnkey.pro answer. Why do people need an AR-15?
Well, first, I don't concede the point that he was mentally disturbed. We don't know. You don't know if he was on medication of some sort. You don't know if there's any diagnosis of mental illness. I say this all the time because we don't want to confront evil in the world, so we call it mental illness. Could just be evil. As you pointed out, methodically plan this. Mm-hmm. So maybe this is just an example of evil, and the instrumentality of evil is the shooter himself. That's a possibility. With respect to an AR-15, well, I have an MP, Smith & Wesson MP Sport.
Okay.
That's a quote-unquote assault weapon.
But the AR-15's been used at Sandy Hook,
so what?
Aurora Theater, at every Pulse nightclub.
So can I own an AR-15?
Well, 8 million Americans own AR-15s.
Right.
That's according to the National Rifle Association.
So how many of those are shoot up schools or theaters?
Do you need that much power?
Is that the right question? Need. Do you, in order to fully express one's rights, is need the standard? In other words, I don't need to say certain things on certain topics. I choose to because it's my First Amendment right to speak my mind, so long as in doing so, I don't infringe upon others to do the same. Do I need to do it? No, I want to do it. I choose to do it because it's my God-given right. So when you hear people say, who needs what, is need the standard for an expression of your rights? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. I don't think it is, obviously. I go out to Aurora Sportsman's Club, where they got a rifle range, and I choose to shoot my S&W MP Sport because, I don't know, it's fun. It's pastime. Just as I go over to the other portion of the club and shoot sporting clays with a 12-gauge. Or go to the outdoor handgun range and shoot silhouette with a 45. I mean, what is it?
Like you're armed to the nines.
Well, but but seriously.
I know.
I mean, so
I just don't. There's 3 things. Why, if somebody's expelled from high school, shouldn't that be a red flag when you're doing a background check? Because he bought the weapon legally. ATF says background check cleared last year. Or should we have somebody dedicated to looking at people's social media. I mean, he had a video that said he's going to kill. He's going to be the biggest mass high school shooter ever. He had another video that said, I'm going to kill law enforcement one day because they go after the good people.
Well,
I want to shoot people with my AR-15.
There's a question of whether or not he was referred to the FBI and they were investigating him.
Well,
so
CBS said that the FBI got a phone call last month. But what did they do?
Well,
I mean, what do you do when you get a phone call?
That's a question. That's a question. Based on the evidence that they're able to pull together, they, take appropriate action. Ostensibly, I don't know. And so I want to, restrain myself, and I think people should, from why didn't the FBI do something? And they got this call a month ago. Number one, that has to be confirmed. Number two, it'd be interesting to hear from the FBI about what information they received and how they process it. And are there things that could be done to improve the processing of tips where there's evidence like you're describing that is very compelling and disturbing? People make threats about shooting up schools and killing cops, and there's repeated examples of it. Yeah, that's obviously a red flag. There's no question about it.
I mean, he was showing off knives, brandishing long knives, had, various weapons on Facebook, on his Instagram account, and nothing. Nobody does anything.
Well,
and then one citizen makes a phone call. What does the FBI do? Drag their heels, sitting on their hands? I really, really want to hear from them.
Well, right. I wouldn't necessarily assume that's what they did, but I hear what you're saying. Rick in Downers Grove.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Good.
I think like I'm a gun collector, like World War II and back, but I have my ARs, my AKs. And like Amy says, well, you don't really need an AR. And I got a friend who's the exact same way. You don't need an AR, but he's into cars. And I tell him, I said, well, you don't really need a car that goes 200 miles an hour out of the factory. However, if you can buy one, it's illegal to own it, and you choose to have one, go for it. Same with the AKs and the ARs and the AKs. I choose to own one because I just like them. And it has nothing to do with me needing it. I just like it. And it's legal to own, and I own them.
Thanks for the call, Rick. Appreciate it. Bill in Chicago.
Hey, how are you? I hear you talking about these ARs and how you want to outlaw them and stuff, and I understand your frustration. But, if you look at Chicago, for example, where I work, there's murders every day, practically, if not mass shootings on a regular basis in Chicago with handguns. And if you add up all the numbers, it far exceeds any of these mass shootings that you see on the news.
No, yeah.
So do you want to outlaw pistols then? I mean, you're lucky this guy didn't go to, like, the Women's March with a box truck, run a bunch of people over and get out and start shooting people with a pistol with an extended mag, or have bombs in his truck, or use explosive devices, which are extremely easy to make.
Are you a police officer?
I am.
Thank you for that. And by the way, again, thank you for your service, and we're very sorry about the loss of Commander Bauer, obviously. But I
appreciate that. Thank you.
Appreciate the call, Bill. Thanks for that. Well, I mean, and Bill makes the right point. I mean, on a if you want to kind of make the determination based on carnage.
Yeah, 17 dead. That's a weekend in Chicago.
And it's handguns. And by the way, we've tried the ban on handguns experiment.
Yeah. How did that go? For 25 years?
Right.
Nobody obeyed that law.
Right. So, and again, instrumentality of evil. Fertilizer and a truck in Oklahoma City.
A pressure cooker.
Knives. Box cutters. Jerry in Chicago.
Yeah, Dan and Amy, good morning. I just went on to my computer this morning, and I have a news release in front of me from the Chicago Police Department. This girl, Simone Musha, from Mount Prospect, that got caught buying and selling guns to gang members. She's 23 years old. She was 23 years old. She was given 15 days community service and 12 months probation after admitting and being convicted of these felonies. I mean, they can come up with all the laws they want. And about the AR-15, I could care less if it's gotten rid of or not. But it's these judges, 12 months probation for selling a .40 caliber Glock to a gang member. And that was only one of 3 guns that she sold. And just, if I can have one more second, I was on this police site, and this is a comment from, I think, this Bauer from Commander Bauer. It says here, in August, Chief Judge Timothy Evans replaced all judges who presided over bond hearings in Cook County and directed new judges to set bail in amounts more affordable to the defendants.
Yeah.
I mean, do we have our priorities backwards? How many more laws are going to help this stuff?
Thanks for the call, Jerry. It's very interesting that the prosecution side of gangbangers and violent criminals, that's a real issue, and particularly in Cook County.
Yeah.
And it's
Commander
under discussed.
Yeah, and Commander Bauer, his killer, 4-time convicted felon, how did he get that gun? We're still waiting. They're processing the gun to see where it came from.
Al in Lake Geneva.
Hey, good morning. 2 quick points. One is people from the angle of knowledge and experience with an AR-15, that is the absolute top predator hunting gun of choice for competitions and recreational use. So for coyote control and coyote hunting, that is the absolute number one gun used by professionals because of the fact it can fire so quickly. And my philosophy is, for all folks that want to get rid of it, why don't we get rid of cars? Why don't we have mandatory background checks for cars, psychological evaluations every 2 years for cars? Because almost 100% of all drunk driving fatalities are caused by cars. So if the guns are causing the shootings, the cars are causing carnage on the highways, and we should apply that same standard to them.
Thank
you very much. I'm sorry.
Thanks, Al. Appreciate that. Anthony in Plainfield. Hey, Anthony.
Thanks for taking my call. I just want the listeners to have one question in mind. 30 to 50 years ago, firearms were much more readily accessible. There were less laws on restrictions on firearms, and yet this kind of stuff wasn't happening. So instead of focusing on instrumentality, the gun itself, what's with the people now that didn't exist then?
Well, thanks for the call, Anthony. Exactly. The source of the problems. Yes. Ralph and Rantoul.
Yeah, good morning. Statistically, hammers and knives still kill more people. People using them, I should say, kill more people than firearms. Firearms gets the news because these mass incidents are hard to replicate with a hammer. Usually a hammer, it's just one murder at a time. And they kind of slip under the radar. But take a look at the numbers. They're still out there. And as far as, firearms go, still the only way to stop a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun. And we're having all these nonsense arguments about, gun-free zones, nuclear-free zones. Well, I can't get and purchase nukes legally, but I can acquire firearms and carry them concealed, and I will continue to do that to protect myself, my family, and those around me from nutburgers like this evil kid who went in and shot a bunch of people at school. They were all sitting ducks.
Thanks, Ralph.
It's what Chicago is talking about. It's Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy on AM 560. The Answer.
I'm Lou Dobbs. Sam's Club targeting upscale suburban families. Home Depot and Lowe's hanging out the Help Wanted signs, and an unhappy customer is suing LL Bean. Those stories next.
You like freedom? I do. You like money? Well, I do too. You like freedom and money, and you're going to love Freedom Checks. You see, over the next few months, an estimated $34.6 billion is up for grabs to anyone who stakes their claim. Yep, you heard that right. $34.6 billion. To get all the details, just go to www.myfreedomchecks.com. Thousands of people are already lined up to cash in. Take Doug, for example. He's a 46-year-old from Joplin, Missouri, who's set to get a check for $24,075. And if Doug can do this, I've got a hunch that you can too. But here's the thing. If you want the chance to grab your full fair share of this $34.6 billion payout, you must have your ducks in a row by March 1st. So don't wait. Get over to www.myfreedomchecks.com before the March 1st deadline. That's www.myfreedomchecks.com.
Walmart owns Sam's Club, trying to reinvent itself to better compete with industry giant Costco. Company spokesman saying Sam's Club will soon be offering free shipping for its premium members and begin targeting suburban families with annual incomes between $75,000 and $125,000. Both Lowe's and Home Depot are in hiring mode. Both retailers plan to hire thousands of workers to fill seasonal jobs this spring and summer. Home Depot planning to hire more than 80,000 workers. Lowe's to hire another 53,000. And LL Bean customers suing the iconic Maine company because it changed its unlimited guarantee on returns. LL Bean recently imposed a one-year limit on returns because of abuses by some customers in the past. Please join me for Lou Dobbs tonight, 7 and 11 Eastern on the Fox Business Network. This is the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
This is Dan Proft with 60 Seconds of Sanity for Upstream-Ideas.com. It was the best of speeches. It was the worst of speeches. It was a call for intellectual honesty. It was a squawk for craven identity politics. Senator Rand Paul properly shamed phony fiscal conservatives who colluded to lift the spending caps for a 2-year budget deal. Paul was spot on about the spoils of war ethos of the royals in both political parties. Spending other people's money is power. Spend more, get more. And at the people's expense in both cases. The royals get it, and then the people get it, good and hard. Where Paul made a succinct argument for smaller government, House Minority Leader Pelosi used her 8-hour filibuster to regale us with apocryphal tales of her grandson, who allegedly wishes he could be a DACA recipient from Guatemala. Can you imagine how prideful Pelosi will be the first time her grandson dons a pea hat or uses the girls' bathroom? The two speeches nicely underscored the choices before us. A nation of laws or men, paying our own way or freeloading on future generations, embracing the neo-Jim Crow left or fighting off the cultural Jacobins. As Dickens wrote about the conditions predating the Reign of Terror, we had everything before us, we had nothing before us.
What interest rate would you rather pay on your credit card debt? 17% or less than 6% APR? The answer is obvious, Lightstream. Because with Lightstream, you may be able to consolidate credit card debt and dramatically cut your interest rate to as low as 5.49% APR with AutoPay. Plus, radio listeners get an additional rate discount. Just go to lightstream.com/news. With average interest rates on credit card debt at 17% APR, Lightstream could save you thousands in interest. And because Lightstream is a division of SunTrust Bank, one of the nation's largest and strongest financial institutions, you can have complete peace of mind. The application takes just minutes, and there are no fees and no pressure. Just lower rates, one low fixed monthly payment, and huge savings. So if you have good to excellent credit, apply today and get a special interest rate discount when you go to lightstream.com/news. That's lightstream.com/news. Lightstream.com/news.
Subject to credit approval. Rates include 0.5% autopay discount. Available only when you select autopay prior to loan funding. Terms and conditions apply and offers are subject to change without notice. Visit lightstream.com for important information about limits on Lightstream loans.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I was surprised at myself how much energy I had, and I'm doing 2 jobs, running around like a maniac, and I was able to handle it. Really, I'm like, wow, this stuff is really good. So, more than anything else, it just gave me the extra energy and the well-being, feeling of well-being that I don't think I would have without it.
Well, I take it every day, and I feel great. And my wife looks at me and says, how come you never get sick? And I do. It's because I take the fruits and veggies.
I just feel a lot better. My life has turned around. Everything is working for me.
It just helps me feel good. I just think the products are wonderful, and I take them every day. I just like it. It works.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first month's order and ship it to you free. Call 800-246-8751 or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
Old Man Winter is here, and you'll need a heating and cooling company you know you can depend on. Look no further. That company is the original Arlington Heights Heating and Cooling. They're not one of those massive impersonal companies with inexperienced technicians and subcontractors. Arlington Heights Heating and Cooling sends only their own highly skilled technicians. From service to installation and everything in between, their work quality and customer service is the best. The original Arlington Heights Heating and Cooling keeps homes and businesses comfy and warm. Call Carrie at 847-545-1700 or visit arlingtonheightsheatingandcooling.com. Mention AM 560 and receive 20% off your first service call. That's Carrie at 847-545-1700 or online at arlingtonheightsheatingandcooling.com. The original Arlington Heights Heating and Cooling, not the biggest, just the best.
Mike Gallagher wants the media to stop overreacting.
We dropped 1,100 points. That's 4.6%. The 4.6% happens about 3 times a year. It had nothing to do with Donald Trump. has to do with interest rates likely rising because the economy is doing so well. It has to do with a normal, inevitable course correction, but yet the media never wants to miss a chance to show him up.
The Mike Gallagher Show, weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
He's now in jail. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
He was like that weird kid at school that you see, like, walk around in school.
That's how one student describes Nicholas Cruz, the suspected gunman in yesterday's high school shooting spree in Parkland, Florida, that left 17 dead, 15 injured.
We were stepping over puddles of blood and just trying not to look.
The first victim identified Aaron Feiss, a football coach, shot while shielding students. Cruz had been expelled from that school after making threats. He was booked on 17 counts of premeditated murder about an hour ago after being questioned all night.
They are looking at any possible motive he may have had for this shooting. They're also looking at what he was doing in the days and the hours leading up to this shooting. They've also looked at his social media, his Instagram, his Facebook posts. The sheriff telling us they are disturbing.
Rebecca Vargas with 7 News outside that jail in Broward County. Florida Governor Rick Scott met with injured victims and parents at a hospital.
They're happy that in this case, that their children are alive. They're worried about them. One of them was still going through surgery. They're like me. They're mad. I mean, how can this be going on in our society?
Inevitably, the gun control debate is back. Fox's Rachel Sutherland is live in Washington.
Democrat Chris Murphy, who was elected to the Senate representing Connecticut after the Sandy Hook school shooting, says Congress is responsible for the massacre.
It is a consequence of our inaction.
Republican Senator Marco Rubio of Florida cautions against rushing to judgment.
I think it's important to know all of that before you jump to conclusions that there's some law that we could have passed that could have prevented it, and there may be.
Others pointing to mental health. President Trump tweeted neighbors and classmates knew the shooter was a big problem, adding, must always report such instances to authorities again and again. Dave.
Now, Rachel, at the Senate today, the most pressing issue remains finding a compromise on immigration reform and a DACA fix. This is Fox News. Fair and balanced.
Cloudy skies, foggy conditions, and 40 degrees at 7:02 on WIND Chicago. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Those foggy conditions will be in place till around 9 a.m., as the National Weather Service has issued a dense fog advisory. Cook County prosecutors are charging a 44-year-old repeat felon with murder, gun, and drug crimes, all connected with Tuesday's shooting death of Chicago Police District Commander Paul Bauer. AM 560's David Stewart has the latest.
Superintendent Eddie Johnson says repeat offenders like 44-year-old Shomari Leggett shouldn't have been on the street in the first place.
Shouldn't be out there, ever again.
Leggett's accused of killing 18th District Commander Paul Bauer after a foot chase that ended in a stairwell outside the Thompson Center. Detective Commander Brendan Denahan says the incident was captured on a witness's cell phone.
The defendant is pulling on Commander Bauer, and they go down the stairwell. Shortly thereafter, you hear 7 loud reports, 7 gunshots.
Mayor Emanuel said Bauer's family deserves justice. David Stewart, NBC News Radio, Chicago.
A man convicted of killing an off-duty Chicago police officer in 2010 will be in prison for a long time. A Cook County judge sentencing Bernard Williams yesterday to 76 years behind bars. A jury found him guilty last April of murder and armed robbery. One person is dead, struck by a Metro train on Chicago's northwest side. A Metro spokesman says the incident happened late last night in the 2300 block of North Neva. A Northwest Indiana doctor accused of over-prescribing painkillers wants more time to review video and audio evidence in that case. Dr. Jay Joshi was indicted in January on 4 counts of dispensing hydrocodone not prescribed for a legitimate medical purpose and outside the scope of professional practice. The Burr Ridge man's attorney cites audio and video evidence and 350 pages of discovery in seeking to delay the deadline for a pre-trial motion and postponement of Joshi's April trial. Raptors over the Bulls, 122-98. On the college hardwood, Fighting Illini fall to Indiana in Bloomington, 78-68. Last night elsewhere, St. John's beat DePaul by 1 in the Valley. Bradley topped Illinois State, and Loyola win number 22 on the year, beating Valpo 80-71 at the Gentile Center. More gold for the U.S. at the Olympics. American skier Michaela Schifrin wins the women's giant slalom. The news service of Staples with low prices on the organizational solutions that your business needs to clear the clutter and focus on the job at hand this year, like banker's boxes, file folders, and storage bins. Less mess equals more success. Visit Staples.com for more. Staples, it's pro time. 7:05, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Our nation is deeply divided. Gone are the days when civil discourse bridged the gap between the two sides. If we'll ever find common ground, we must get beyond the talking points. AM 560, The Answer, is bringing together two of America's sharpest political minds from opposite sides of the aisle. To do just that, it's Beyond the Talking Points with Dan Proft and Donna Brazil on Thursday, March 22nd. Proft and Brazil will go head-to-head, tackling the big issues facing our nation. Tickets are on sale now at 560theanswer.com/beyond.
Message and data rates may apply. Warranty good as long as you own your mattress. Details at nectarsleep.com.
When we told the mattress industry we were going to create the most comfy mattress the world had ever seen, they said, no way. And when we said we'd offer our memory foam mattress at a price that's hundreds less than the showrooms, they said, yeah, right. So we went one step further and said, we'll let customers enjoy it for a full 365 nights with free no-hassle returns. They said, you're crazy. And when they said, what else are you going to do, offer a warranty forever? We said, that sounds like a great idea. We're Nectar, and we make the mattress that's keeping the mattress industry up at night. Enjoy a better night's sleep with a better mattress and even better value. For $125 off our already low price, plus 2 free Nectar pillows, text COZY to 234234 or go to nectarsleep.com. Text COZY to 234234. COZY to 234234. Nectar for sweet, sweet sleep.
All money managers may seem pretty much the same. But while some money managers may recommend high commission investment products, Fisher Investments avoids them. Some money managers may have hidden and layered fees. Fisher Investments never does. And while some money managers are happy to earn commissions from you, whether you do well or not, Fisher Investments fees are structured so we do better when you do better. In other words, we're structured to be on your side. Maybe that's why most of our clients come to us from other money managers. Talk with us and find out why so many experienced investors are switching to and staying with Fisher Investments. Fisher Investments, clearly better money management. Investments in securities involve the risk of loss. Visit us at FisherInvestments.com to find out what we can do for you.
7:07 and a check of the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim.
Thanks, Mike. Eden's inbound delays are from Dial Center to Montrose, 31 minutes. Lake Cook Junction, outbound 25. Kennedy, heavy. River Road toll to Lawrence, Irving Park to Burn Circle, 47 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, 25 from Montrose, 27 on the Express. Up on 17 minutes to Montrose, 35 to O'Hare. About Eisenhower, an hour and 10 minutes, 390 to downtown, 52 minutes from Manheim. Up on 45 to 390. Stevenson, an hour, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, 48 minutes from the Tri-State, outbound 38 minutes to 355. Ryan, 32 minutes, 95th to downtown, I-57, 20 minutes, I-80 to the merge with Bishop Ford, 45. Some delays on Lakeshore Drive northbound from the Stevenson to Jackson. On the Tri-State northbound, Cicero to 31st, and from the Reagan Tollway to the Grand Avenue curve, but Adams Tollway heavy approaching Arlington Heights Road. Reagan Tollway bottled up now, Randall to Farnsworth. Veterans Memorial slow 75th to the Reagan Tollway, Roosevelt to St. Charles. Westbound Indiana Toll Road slow, past Grant to Klein, crash in the right lane. Southbound I-65 is jammed. State Road 2 to the Kankakee River Bridge after a crash. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast with our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
Dense fog advisory in effect for the morning. Widespread dense morning fog, then areas of fog in the afternoon. Otherwise, cloudy today with some drizzle, followed by a little rain in the afternoon. High 43. For tonight, overcast and colder, low 25. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
40 at O'Hare. Next news, 7:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continue next. on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Kelly Financial Services, helping you secure your financial future today. Visit kellyfinancialservicesinc.com.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. And on Parkland, Florida, the place where that terrible high school shooting took place yesterday, 17 dead, 15 in the hospital. We've been talking about it all morning.
Yeah, and ironically enough, it was voted last month. It was voted the safest city in the state of Florida. And also, first baseman for the Cubs, Anthony Rizzo, that's his alma mater.
Right.
He recently donated $150,000 to their baseball program to get lights so they can play night games. And, heavy heart this morning for him. And
yeah, he tweeted
everyone.
about it. He tweeted a message, right. All right, we're going to get back to a discussion about that atrocity in Florida, but we have to switch gears here for a second, do a little bit of local, because the governor, the worst Republican governor in America, says National Review, and me, Governor Rauner delivered his budget address yesterday, and
it wasn't even a blip on the news, considering Commander Bauer was shot.
Well, right,
and
of
then
course.
this mass shooting in Florida.
Well, that's right, and those are terrible events that should capture people's attention. There's no question. But in addition to that, the state of your state is also something that should capture your attention, particularly when Governor Rauner is proposing, number one, despite what he says, to make the income tax increase permanent. He says he's going to repeal the income tax increase he presided over, but he budgeted for the revenue anticipated from the tax increase. So that's a curious thing. Could it be another betrayal? Oh, that'd be a surprise.
No, he doesn't lie.
And then the second item is pension push down to local school districts. So you think your property taxes are high now. Wait till your local school districts are financing the unfunded pension liabilities for teachers and staff at the local level. So you may want to pay attention if you care about the value of your home and you're planning on staying in Illinois. For more on the speech and the component parts of Rauner's proposed budget, generally speaking, we're pleased to be joined again by our friend Tom Morrison, Republican State Representative from Palatine. Tom, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Hey, Dan. Hey, Amy. How are you?
Good. So your review, generally speaking, of what the governor outlined yesterday.
Well, it's interesting. I mean, he's going into a very, very tough election this March. And so I think he tried to hit on some themes that would be popular with his base. He talked about pension reform once again. He talked about expensive government employee health insurance. So, hey, I'm on board with him there. But as you just stated, his budget absolutely relies upon that tax increase. And rather than proposing a budget that would roll back spending, we just continue to double down on the spending.
And what about on the pension pickup piece, the pension push down to local school districts? One of the criticisms that was lodged by Ives of that proposal is that the governor pushes down the unfunded liabilities, but he doesn't give local school districts very much power in the process to decide what kind of retirement plans they're going to offer at the local level. And so the whole point of this, right, is to marry responsibility with authority, and it seems that this is just pushing down responsibility.
Well, that's the critical thing is you absolutely have to protect taxpayers at the local level. So at least in theory, the governor's right that there needs to be some local accountability. When these salaries are negotiated at the local level, but then pushed on to the rest of the state's taxpayers via the pension system, that's not fair or right or sustainable. The Tribune, in their editorial today, they talked about the golden parachutes that continue. So there have to be reforms put in place that would protect property taxpayers. Furthermore, we need to make sure that the employees themselves are actually paying their portion of of their pension payment. In other words, teachers are supposed to pay about 9.4% of their salary into the teacher's retirement system.
Right.
But in many cases, they've negotiated that the school district pick it up. And who's the school district? That's you and me and our neighbors. And so the only way that I would support that pension, shift is if you had those protections in place. So I find it very hard to believe that a Democrat majority in the legislature would allow that to go through.
Do we have $8 or $9 billion in unpaid bills? Do you know?
I think it's less than that, but it's still a very, very high number that tax increase did not solve because, again, in what we saw in this budget, the governor just continues to believe that more money into an education bureaucracy is a good thing. And that's not how real conservatives think, that somehow throwing more money at a bureaucracy is going to fix things or give you better outcomes.
And I'm sorry, go ahead, Tom.
Oh, I was just going to say, he didn't say it in his speech yesterday, I don't think, but I mean, the governor has said right from his inauguration, he believes in a cradle to career program for education in Illinois, and that's just not how real conservatives think.
Are we sure he's not a Democrat? I mean, really, it's just unbelievable to me.
I think the last 3 years plus demonstrate who he is, and that's why I'm supporting Jeannie Ives for governor.
And I'm just sticking on school funding. He also believes that everybody not in Chicago should pick up the responsibility for how Chicago manages its finances. This has really been an underreported and it's underappreciated, as so much is in this state, given the power structure that we have. The bailout of Chicago public school pensions by suburban and downstate taxpayers. People think it's misreported by the Chicago and Springfield press corps as kind of like a one-time thing. This is a couple $100 million. We ceded control to Chicago with financing guaranteed by the state. You're talking really about a $17 billion bailout of CPS pensions that suburban and downstate taxpayers are going to be on the hook for.
Yeah, and I'm glad that Representative Ives is bringing that up in her campaigns. But it does demonstrate why the governor will refuse to debate her, and I think that's why we have to keep pushing that issue so that she can bring that to light, because there are a lot of Republicans who are still a little bit in the dark about who Bruce Rauner really is. He'll put up a slick campaign ad, a 30-second ad, a 60-second ad. He says the right things, but the reality just is not there.
And I know you said you're supporting Ives. So what do you think about his ad that says that Jeannie Ives is Mike Madigan's favorite Republican? Republican.
It is laughable. It's just absolutely laughable. I mean, Bruce Rauner for the last 3 years has played directly into Mike Madigan's hands, and I think he has been outplayed, outmaneuvered, and that's why we're in the tough position that we're in. But that's why I'm so happy that Jeannie did step up to run this past fall. It looks like money is coming in to support her. She is a very viable candidate with a viable campaign. And I think it's just going to really upend what the Democrats' plan was for the general election, because what they wanted was a divided Republican Party with Bruce Rauner. They got him to sign, very controversial, very unpopular bills to divide his caucus in the legislature and to divide his base among the voters, and then they cruised to re-election next fall. And Jeannie's entry into the race, it really upends that plan.
How do your fellow Republican lawmakers feel about Governor Rauner? Are they more on Team Ives or Team Rauner?
Whether they're publicly for Ives or not, or they're just sitting on the sidelines, I think the vast majority of them are just sitting on the sidelines. But there's almost universal distrust of the governor, that even from the get-go in 2015, he would come in and, speaking of education, since we've spent so much time on that, back in 2015 when this budget impasse started, he asked all of us to hang together as a caucus, don't vote for any unbalanced budgets that the Democrats would push forward, don't vote for any budgets that were not paired with necessary reforms to reduce the cost of government at the local level and state government. Well, the majority of us we're on board with that. Okay, fine. We'll stick with you. And then he went ahead and he signed the K through 12 budget in 2015, which took all the pressure off a balanced budget back in 2015. It really did set the stage for what eventually became $16 billion in unpaid bills.
Yeah.
And so that was the number one thing that set the stage for the mistrust and the distrust and the shifting negotiations and, I must have this. Oh, no, I don't need that. And it's just very hard to negotiate with somebody when you don't know where they actually stand on issues. And I think that's why Jeannie presents such a compelling candidacy, because you may not agree with her on everything, but you know where she stands and she knows where she stands, which makes negotiations that much more fruitful because you know where you can compromise without compromising your principles.
All right. He is State Representative Tom Morrison, Republican from the 54th District, Palatine area. Tom, thanks for joining us. As always, appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. Have a good morning.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
You've made the switch, and it feels so good. You've switched to Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Fog this morning. Otherwise, we're going to have areas of drizzle and light rain this afternoon, a high of 43 degrees. Then tonight, the cool weather returns, a low of 25. And tomorrow, we're going to be lucky if we get out of the 20s, a high predicted of 28 degrees with mostly cloudy skies. Let's get into the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center now. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Amy and Dan. With that fog, we have some flight cancellations, more than 25 at Midway, fewer than that at O'Hare. Problems in northwest Indiana, westbound Indiana Toll Road. Stop and go from past Grant to Klein Avenue. Crash the two right lanes. Southbound I-65 is jammed. State Road 2 on Lowell to the Kankakee River Bridge. Right lane still blocked after a much earlier rollover. Edens is 31 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 24. Kennedy, an hour and 2 minutes now. O'Hare to downtown, 34 minutes from Montrose, 33 in the Express. Outbound 46 to O'Hare. The Eisenhower's an hour and 10 minutes, 390 to downtown. Outbound 45 minutes. Stevenson, an hour and 4 minutes, 355 to the drive. Outbound 37 minutes. Ryan, 32 minutes, 95th to downtown. On Reagan Tollway, bottled up Randall to Farnsworth. Northbound Veterans Memorial. Before 75th to the Reagan Tollway and Roosevelt to St. Charles. Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Get ready. It's Auto Show Month. And to celebrate, you're going to see some of the best deals of the new year at Joe Cotton Ford. Joe Cotton Ford will get your engines revving with the largest selection of quality American-made Ford vehicles, including SUVs and trucks with all the features you want and need to navigate the snow and ice this Chicago winter. Ready for a different auto buying experience? At Joe Cotton Ford, you won't get the cold shoulder from a sales guy trying to hit a sales quota. What you will get is the white glove treatment without all the hype and pressure. And don't forget, every vehicle purchased comes with the Joe Cotton Advantage that goes above and beyond what the manufacturer offers. It'll help you save on maintenance, vehicle protection, and more. Be sure to ask about the Joe Cotton Advantage program when you come in. Get to Joe Cotton Ford and celebrate Auto Show Month with a new Ford car, truck, or SUV today. Gary and North Avenue in Carroll Stream or at joecottonford.com. joecottonford.com.
When you're hiring, you don't want to sort through dozens of irrelevant resumes. You want a short list of qualified candidates. That's why you need Indeed.com. Diana's hired with Indeed.
It just gives me so many more qualified applicants to choose from.
Post a job in minutes. Set up screener questions. Then zero in on qualified candidates using an intuitive online dashboard. Discover why 3 million businesses use Indeed for hiring. Post a job today at Indeed.com/hire. Search for greatness. Search Indeed.
Save more with Liberty Mutual Insurance.
Hey, what are you doing up here on the roof? I want to tell the world I just met the woman of my dreams. What about you? I want to tell the world that Liberty Mutual saved me $782. Liberty did what? They saved me $782. Oh, you go first then. $782 really puts finding love into perspective.
Visit us online to get a quote, and you could save $782. Liberty Mutual Insurance. Based on a recent countrywide new customer survey, coverage is underwritten by Liberty Mutual Insurance Company, Equal Housing Insurer.
Want to know the secret that all those flipping houses gurus won't tell you? Flipping multi-unit properties is easier and more profitable than flipping single-family homes. With over 17 years of experience, we here at RE Mentor will show you the art of buying and selling multi-unit properties. Come spend the afternoon or evening with our team of experts, and we'll show you how to put $10,000 to $30,000 in your pocket over the next 90 days. This 2-hour class will teach you the art of the multi-unit flip and long-term hold. You'll learn how to buy, hold, and sell multi-unit properties with no money down, no credit, and no risk. You risk nothing but have everything to gain. This intensive 2-hour real estate class is coming to the Chicago area soon. Call 800-559-1577 to secure your seat. This seminar is free to the first 30 people that call. Change your life now and learn the art of the multi-unit flip or long-term hold. Call 800-559-1577. That's 800-559-1577.
Did you hear Donna Brazil on Real Time with Bill Maher last Friday night? No, neither did I. But I'm told that she was trying to explain to the mooch, Anthony Scaramucci, why Donald Trump won't be reelected in 2020. I'll be curious to hear her explanation when I sit down across from Donna Brazil on Thursday, March 22nd at the Meadows Club in Rolling Meadows. It's Beyond the Talking Points. Donna and I will tackle all of the big issues: immigration, alleged Russian collusion, healthcare, Trump's reelection prospects. It's all on the table, and it's happening live, and I want you in the audience. Tickets start at just $29. Get yours today.
I have a free ticket.
No, $29.
Come on, Dan.
Go to 560theanswer.com/beyond. That's 560theanswer.com/beyond. Sponsored in part by AM Woodland Outdoor Design and by 1-800-4-BLINDS Chicago. Blinds, shades, and shutters.
Did you know that studies have shown that we need over 10 servings of fruits and veggies every single day? If you're like me, it's hard to find the time and money to prepare and eat all of those fruits and vegetables. Who can do that? Yet we know that proper nutrition can prevent health problems, give us energy, and help us heal faster. Balance of Nature has spent over 20 years researching and delivering solutions to this problem. We can ensure that you consume over 30 different fruits and veggies every single day. Our capsules are filled with 100% real whole foods. There isn't a single thing added to Balance of Nature products. They're pure. We spent an incredible amount of time on the quality of our products. We do this for you. We do it for our own families. Give yourself a break and give your body what it needs. Call now to receive 35% off your first Balance of Nature order. Call 1-800-2468-751 or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
The following is a paid political announcement.
I am not in charge. I'm trying to get to be in charge.
My name is Jeannie Ives, and I'm the conservative running against Bruce Rauner for governor. I'm an economic liberty, pro-family West Point grad. I've spent the last 5 years battling Chicago Democrats. I didn't think I'd have to spend so much time battling Bruce Rauner. But when Rauner betrayed conservative families, that's exactly what I did. Rauner made Illinois a sanctuary state. I voted against it. Rauner made you pay for abortions in all 9 months of pregnancy. I voted against it, and so did every other Republican legislator. Rauner took money from your schools to bail out the Chicago public schools. I voted against it. National Review has called Rauner the worst Republican governor in the country because he is. Rauner betrayed us. I honor who we are as conservatives. Rauner can't win re-election. He said he's not in charge. With your help, I'll lead the charge.
Paid for by Ives for Illinois.
AM 560.
The Answer.
We're learning fascinating information about this shooter in Florida.
Yeah, so BuzzFeed is reporting that, you know how the initial report CBS was the FBI had been tipped off about the shooter a month ago?
Yeah, because of the posting on the YouTube channel.
Yeah, BuzzFeed reporting that the FBI was notified in September.
Ooh. 5 months ago. Okay.
September, after a YouTuber named, with the shooter's name, left a comment about wanting to be a professional school shooter. Another YouTuber named Benite emailed the FBI tip line after he noticed a comment left by the shooter on one of his videos, or at least the same name as the shooter. The comment read, "I'm going to be a professional school shooter." Benite lives in Mississippi. Says he was immediately contacted by the local FBI office. He met with agents the following day, September. And then he said, that's the last I heard from them.
Maybe they thought since he's not in school that he's not going to be a school shooter because he already was expelled. But look at what happened in Sandy Hook. I mean, a former student came in.
Yeah. Now, Benight, after the shooting, was again contacted by the FBI. According to BuzzFeed reporting, Special Agent Ryan Furr left the following voicemail. I think we spoke with you in the past about a complaint you made about someone making a comment on your YouTube channel. I just wanted to follow up with you and ask you a question with something that's come up, if you wouldn't mind giving me a ring. Benight says he was again visited by the FBI agents Wednesday and asked if he knew the shooter. When he told agents he did not, they left. So the FBI does have some questions to answer about how they handled that tip that they were given in September. Follow-up immediately, no follow-up subsequently, and now they're following up.
We're also learning, too, the reason why he was expelled. Apparently, he had a girlfriend, and he was apparently abusive to his girlfriend, and after they broke up, he got into a fight with her new boyfriend at school. That's why he was expelled. And you know how he got out yesterday? Because he wasn't captured on school grounds. He was about a mile away. He blended in with the students and put his hand up over his head and walked out with the students. That's how he got out of there. So this was well-planned,
from beginning to end.
Calculated, maniacal, sick plan.
Yep.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
We're going to switch gears for a moment. We're going to talk to Andy McCarthy, former U.S. attorney and contributing editor to National Review, about the increasingly curious plea deal that General Michael Flynn entered, as well as this new House Oversight investigation into the hiring of Rob Porter. That's at 7:37.
And later, remembering Commander Bauer and how you can help. But first, let's get into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
Cloudy skies and 40 degrees. An orphaned 19-year-old with a troubled past and his own rifle is charged with 17 counts of premeditated murder this morning after being questioned for hours by state and federal authorities about one of the deadliest school shootings in the U.S. Nicholas Cruz, still wearing a hospital gown after being treated for labored breathing, weighing in at about 131 pounds, was ordered held without bond and then booked into jail. The 19-year-old is accused of repeatedly firing that rifle at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High in Florida yesterday, killing 17, including students and adults. 16-year-old Joshua Charo says he tried his best to keep his peers safe and comfort them.
Most of the people were crying, trying to call their families. I was with my friends. I was trying to keep them calm. We were all trying to stay calm. We were just talking about things that would make us laugh so we could pass by the time and lighten up the mood.
Turning to other news this morning, a bipartisan Senate plan to protect dreamers and send billions of dollars to border security could be headed to a vote later today. Top U.S. intelligence officials warning people against using smartphones made by companies in China, Huawei or ZTE. Members of the CIA, the FBI, the Defense Intelligence Agency testified that using those phones could allow for undetected espionage. VA Secretary David Shulkin will testify today before a House Veterans panel about his agency's budget request. This comes after reports that his chief of staff altered an email and lied to an ethics official about tax money used for Shulkin's wife's travel expenses to Europe last year. Foggy conditions causing some travel issues. Around Chicagoland this morning, there is a dense fog advisory up until 9 a.m. A four-time felon charged with murdering Chicago Police Commander Paul Bauer due in court today. Shamari Leggett is accused of shooting the 31-year veteran officer during a struggle outside of the Thompson Center. Leggett has a long criminal history that stretches back more than 2 decades. Chicago sports found the Raptors over the Bulls last night, 122-98. Blackhawks hosting the Ducks at the UC tonight. College hoops in the Big Ten, Indiana over Illinois, 78-68. The news, a service of Staples. Staples has low prices on the organizational solutions that your business needs to clear the clutter and focus on the job at hand this year, like banker's boxes, file folders, and storage bins. Less mess equals more success. Visit Staples.com for more. Staples, it's pro time. 7:34, we'll have a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
It's really cold at this time of the year.
The Joe Walsh Show.
A very nice man in Elgin decided to take in homeless people into his basement to get them out of the cold. And wouldn't you know it, the city government told him to cease and desist. Something about municipal regulations or whatever.
The Joe Walsh Show. Weeknights starting at 5. Right after Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
Big government sucks.
Pursue your passion with a degree from Aurora University Online. Choose fully online programs in business, computer science, and more. To learn more, visit online.aurora.edu.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Jerry Kerrigan, one of the owners of F.J. Kerrigan Plumbing Company, a third-generation family-run business. Our trusted longtime accountant referred us to Signature Bank, and we've never been happier. On one of our first meetings, Signature Bank CEO Mick O'Rourke said, "You worry about running the business, and we'll take care of everything else." Since that initial meeting, Signature Bank has lived up to every promise they've made. The decision-making is local, the staff is consistent, and the service is outstanding. F.J. Kerrigan Plumbing understands the value of long-term customer relationships, and we plan to be a customer of Signature Bank for a long time to come.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
7:35. Let's get an update on the roads this morning in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim.
Thanks, Mike. Inbound Eden's jammed. Peterson Junction, 32 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 29. Kennedy, an hour and 10 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, 42 minutes from Montrose. 44 in the Express, outbound 48 to the airport. Eisenhower's an hour and 14 minutes. 390 to downtown, outbound 58 minutes. Stevenson, an hour and 4 minutes. 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 37 minutes. Ryan, 32 minutes, 95th to downtown. Northbound Tri-State, slow Cicero to 31st. From the Reagan Tollway to the Grand Avenue Curve. Reagan Tollway, heavy Randall to Farnsworth. Veterans Memorial, from I-55 to the Reagan Tollway and Roosevelt to St. Charles. Traffic service, Staples. Staples has low prices on the organizational solutions your business needs to clear the clutter and focus on the job at hand this year. Like bankers' boxes, file folders, storage bins. Less mess equals more success. Visit Staples.com for more. Staples, it's pro time. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. Fog this morning, drizzle midday, little rain this afternoon. High 43, overcast and cold overnight, low 25. Currently 40 at O'Hare. Next news coming up at 8. And Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is sponsored by Financial Planning with Jack Taboda, your 401k specialist. Heard Saturday mornings at 7 right here on AM 560, The Answer.
No Victocrats allowed. Why? Because we've got a country to save. Join me, Larry Elder, tonight starting at 7 on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago Lyric Opera presents a thrilling new production of Faust this March. Faust longs to be young again, and his wish comes true when he sells his soul to the devil with disastrous consequences. This famed tale of yearning, temptation, innocence lost, and redemption bursts with memorable music, making it one of opera's favorite blockbusters. So don't miss Faust. Visit lyricopera.org today and experience something extraordinary. And this morning we're giving away a pair of tickets to Faust at the Lyric Opera to caller number 5 at 312-642-5600, and good luck.
I'm going to go see Faust. Lyric Opera is always a good performance. All right, yesterday, just switching gears from Florida briefly, yesterday it was announced that Trey Gowdy, chairman of the House Oversight Committee, retiring from Congress at the end of his term, is launching an investigation into the hiring and background checking of former White House Staff Secretary Rob Porter.
Just so that I'm clear, will the Oversight Committee be launching an investigation into this?
We did last night.
So it's official?
That word probably means more to you than it does to me. What matters to me is that we are directing inquiries to people that we think have access to information we don't have. You can call it official. You can call it unofficial. Those words don't mean anything to me. What means something to me is I'm going to direct questions to the FBI that I expect them to answer. And if they don't answer them, then they're going to need to give me a really good reason, and you'll learn that reason, and you can judge whether or not it's a sufficient reason or not. But unless you're Jack Bauer, you can't make people answer questions. I've been trying for 7 years to get certain people to answer questions without a whole lot of success. We're going to try, and then we could use your help if they say no.
I love Trey Gowdy. I'm going to miss him.
I know.
That was great. For more on this topic and many others, including a piece that Andy McCarthy wrote about this week, or a piece he wrote on the topic of this kind of revisiting Michael Flynn's plea deal in the wake of the revelation that Byron York reported in the Washington Examiner that Comey didn't believe Flynn lied to the FBI in the relevant interview. It's very strange. For more on this, please be joined again by Andy McCarthy, former Chief Assistant U.S. Attorney in Manhattan, contributing editor, National Review. Andy, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Hey, Andy, how are you?
Good. Hey, before we get into the memos and the Russian collusion and the plea deals, as a former federal prosecutor, somebody who obviously worked with the FBI in your day-to-day job, this report that the FBI was tipped off about the shooter back in September, the school shooter in Florida, made an initial contact with the tipster. Then the tipster never heard from them again until yesterday, after this guy who said he wanted to be a school shooter became a school shooter. Did that 5-month gap, and we don't know what the FBI did or didn't do, but does that strike you as curious? Is it something where the FBI is going to have to provide a full accounting of what they did and didn't do?
Well, it's curious, but it reminded me, Dan, of remember the shooting by that jihadist in the club in Orlando?
Orlando, yeah.
A few years back. We had a similar sort of a situation where, the Bureau had looked into some things that had been raised, and after a while they, not a lot was done, and they closed the case. And I think, obviously all this stuff has to be looked at, and in the wake of something horrific like yesterday, obviously it will be. But people tend to forget that, in the whole country, there are only about 13,000 FBI agents covering everything that they cover. And, with that kind of sparse resources, most law enforcement is actually rubber-meet-the-road law enforcement is mostly local.
Right.
With the FBI dealing with big national priorities, you would hope. And the thing is that there's not enough of them that they can afford to, say on every single thing that's suspicious for a long period of time. Generally speaking, you open an investigation, and if there's not, real strong reason to continue it, and there's not something on the table to prosecute, it gets closed and you move on to the next thing. And sometimes when you move on to the next thing, something tragic happens in the last thing, which is, always awful. But
if you look at his digital footprint, I mean, his social media posts were very disturbing. And who's in charge of monitoring that? I mean, is it the FBI's job? Is it local jurisdiction? Who can watch that to make sure that this doesn't happen again?
Well, Amy, it's probably a lot of different organizations. I think Homeland Security comes into play there as well on the federal level, and obviously the state and local police. But you bring up a good point, which is that sometimes when you have so many agencies that are responsible for something, everybody's kind of assuming that the other guy's doing it, and that's how things fall through the cracks. So we probably should get a lot better in terms of what the lines of responsibility are. But I always think it's way too early in this thing to start, making conclusive statements about, who could have done a better job.
Yeah, for sure. Turning to General Michael Flynn and his plea deal for lying to the FBI. He's awaiting sentencing against the backdrop of the reporting this week by Byron York at Washington Examiner that I mentioned, that Jim Comey reportedly told members of Congress he didn't believe Flynn lied to him, or certainly didn't say anything untrue intentionally. And then Bob Mueller picks up the case, and he comes to a very different conclusion. Obviously, you wrote about this. How do you process those seemingly conflicting opinions?
Yeah, well, I've been pointing out, I think since December probably, that this is a very peculiar situation. And one of the reasons I wrote about it initially was because I thought it defied the caricature of this guy Strzok, who, the FBI agent who has all these texts. And I had a number of people who were a little annoyed at me back when I said this, but I thought that we ought to hold up on condemning Strzok too much, because it didn't seem to me like he was a rabidly anti-Trump person in terms of the way he did investigations. And my exhibit A on that was Flynn, because it was already out there that Comey had told the House committee that the reason Flynn had not been charged with a crime, back in January of 2017, when he spoke to the FBI, the reason he hadn't been charged with a crime is that the agents who interviewed him believed him. And the agent who ran that interview was Strzok. So it seemed to me that Strzok was probably an exculpatory witness for Flynn. And what happened here is that once Comey was gone and Strzok was gone, and, Sally Yates, who was the one who was pushing the Flynn investigation in the first place, she was gone. It looked like Flynn was in the clear. And then all of a sudden, Mueller's very aggressive team comes in, and suddenly they decide they know better than the people who were in the room actually questioning Flynn, and they charge him. And then it turns out that, literally a day or two after they charge him, all this information comes out about Strzok and, the texts. And there's a lot of reason to doubt that Mueller and his team alerted Flynn to not only the information that was going to be out there about the government's witnesses that would have been unflattering if there had been a trial here, but also did Mueller let Flynn know that the FBI had judged that he was honest in their interview with him, and that to the extent that there were factual discrepancies, they were failures of recollection, not an attempt to be dishonest.
Well, and so what the implications of this, though? I mean, and the implications of this for Mueller's investigation writ large.
Well, it's not easy to say, because it's not like, let's say Flynn can get his plea back, right? Even though he's waived everything. Typically in a plea agreement with the government, you waive all your trial rights and you waive all your appellate rights, and that strikes people when they first hear it as unfair. But the benefit that you get out of a plea agreement is that you get to settle the case on, less charges than you would have faced if you had gone to trial. And it may still be, Flynn can't be thinking that if he gets his plea back and he goes back to square one, that Mueller is just going to go away. They could still prosecute him for whatever else they have on him, which may be nothing, but it may also be, more than he's dealing with now. And I think part of the reason he wanted to plead out, as I understand it, is he was under great financial stress, and he was concerned that there may be charges brought, or an investigation at least brought, against his son. So,
that's right.
There's a lot hanging in the balance for Flynn, and what it means for Mueller's overall case. I don't know, because I never regarded Flynn as a cooperating witness against anyone. I think if there had been a collusion case against Flynn, Mueller would have made him plead guilty to collusion, and would have made him allocute at the time of his guilty plea, explaining, what Trump had done and what everybody else had done in a big collusion conspiracy.
Do you think
he didn't have him do that, because I don't think they have that kind of evidence.
Do you think Flynn's going to spend any time in jail?
I don't. I really hope that, I think, Amy, if Trump was in a position to do it politically, I think he'd pardon him. And I think he should be pardoned. because I don't think, it looks to me like this is a very fugazi case on him.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you assume that he lied, I mean, when you look at what he says he did, it doesn't really look like the lie of the century. And if you look at the other side of the ledger, this is why I think Trump was right a year ago when he said to Comey, the equities were pointed in the direction of cut and split and break. I mean, the guy is basically ruined. He had the job of a lifetime. He was able to hold it for 24 days. His prospects are not anything like they were at the time that the Trump administration began. And it looks to me like he didn't do anything wrong. They investigated him for things that an incoming national security advisor is supposed to do. And it was a crackpot investigation to the extent that they thought it was, he had violated the Logan Act, which is just nonsense. So I think he's been through a lot. He should be pardoned.
All right. He is Andy McCarthy, former Chief Assistant U.S. Attorney in Manhattan, contributing editor at National Review. He is a must-read, especially in these times with all of these investigations. Andy McCarthy, thanks so much for joining us, Ken. Appreciate it.
Thanks so much.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Hear about the big stories of the day, then talk about them right here on Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Coming up, remembering Commander Bauer and how you could help the family. But first, here's your forecast. Fog this morning. Otherwise, light rain this afternoon, a high of 43 degrees. Tonight, colder. We're going to hit the 20s, 25 degrees for low, and not getting much higher than that for your Friday. We'll have some clouds giving way to sun by the afternoon, but a high only of 28 degrees. Let's get into the Alarm Detection System Traffic Center. Here is Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Amy and Dan. Eden's inbound heavy Dempster to Niles Center with a crash in the left lane, and Cicero to Montrose, 28 minutes. Lake Cook Junction, outbound 40. Kennedy, inbound delay start at Harlem. It is an hour and 18 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, outbound 49 minutes. The Ike, an hour 14, 390 to downtown, 52 minutes from Manheim, outbound 58 to 390. Stevenson, an hour and 10 minutes, 355 to the drive. Ryan, 36 minutes, 95th to downtown. Bishop Ford, 55 minutes, 8094 to the merge. On the southbound side of Lakeshore Drive, it's heavy Bryn Mawr to North Avenue, and northbound from Stevenson to Jackson. Northbound Tri-States, though, Cicero to 31st, and from the Reagan Tollway to the Grand Avenue Curve, Reagan and Veterans Memorial Tollways are heavy too. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Got a great night's sleep last night thanks to my pillow, and I want to remind you about the 4-pack deal. It's back. And I strongly urge you go online or call now to make sure you take advantage of this great deal. By using the promo code Amy, you will get the best deal available anywhere. The MyPillow 4-pack deal includes 2 premium MyPillow and my favorite, those 2 Go Anywhere MyPillows at 50% off. I love that I can move the fill to give me the support I need regardless of sleep position. I never wake up with a stiff neck or headache. MyPillow is made in America. Washable, dryable, has a 10-year warranty, 60-day money-back guarantee. So get your 50% off the 4-pack by calling 800-489-0201. Use the promo code Amy or visit MyPillow.com. MyPillow.com, promo code Amy.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
Starting Balance of Nature, I felt it the first month. I felt different. It made such a difference that now I wake up, my head feels clearer, I have more energy. Very rarely does my body cramp up anymore. It's the best thing. It's just amazing. I don't know what to say. I just would not be what I am today if I didn't start Balance of Nature.
I plan on taking this the rest of my life because until I started taking your stuff, I never took as many fruits and vegetables in a day as I get through you guys. You know, I'm very, very, very satisfied.
My pain and it went away. I swear to you that that's the truth.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first month's order and ship it to you free. Call 800-246-8751 or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
If you did not purchase health insurance coverage during the 2017 open enrollment, I can help you purchase a PPO health insurance plan at any time during the year. This is Tom Marabali, your health insurance advocate and independent producer for Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois and other health insurance carriers. If you are between the ages of 19 and 64, you are automatically paying for maternity coverage whether you want the coverage or not. If you are a non-smoking 50-year-old male or female living in the city of Chicago,
The monthly premium rate for a 100% tax-deductible health savings account PPO plan would be $590 per month. But I can show you how to eliminate the mandatory maternity benefit and lower your monthly premiums down to approximately $240 per month. To see if you qualify or for more information, call me, Tom Marabali, at 630-863-3477. That's 630-863-3477.
Struggling with weight loss or possibly have joint pain? Well, I have something for you. It is called Calitrin, and the main ingredient is a collagen protein, which helps reduce joint pain, increases mobility. I take mine at night in a liquid form. It helps me fall asleep, and I wake up feeling rejuvenated and refreshed. Now with more on Calitrin, here's Elizabeth.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. You know, I've actually lost 40 pounds with it myself. I'm telling you, it is a supplement that is awesome. It really is more than just a weight loss supplement. It's a health supplement, so you're going to feel good while you're taking it. There's no drugs and no stimulants in it. I think people are used to stimulant weight loss products, but it's not that type of product. You actually take it at bedtime and you let it do the work. And if you want to go to our website, toploss.com, TOPLOSS.com. You can read up on the science behind how it works, and you can check out all of our specials. Also, if you want to use promo code Amy today, you're going to save 10% on your order. Again, that's toploss.com.
Thanks, Elizabeth.
Thanks, Amy.
Follow the world's best golfers at the 82nd Masters Tournament, April 2nd through the 8th on the tournament's official website, masters.com. Log on all week long to experience a tradition unlike any other, and follow the Masters on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Masters.com offers live full-screen HD video coverage, including the Par 3 contest, plus real-time scoring, up-to-the-minute tournament news, and more. Masters.com, your official online source for the 2018 Masters.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, U.S. Tax Shield can help you take back control. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Our team of tax attorneys can stop collections and get you protected. U.S. Tax Shield offers a price protection guaranteed quote to get you protected today. U.S. Tax Shield is A+ rated with the BBB, so call 800-519-7796. U.S. Tax Shield, 800-519-7796.
Are you facing foreclosure, been foreclosed upon, in a bad modification, or just stuck in a bad mortgage? Well, we may be able to help you. My name is Lou Bridges. I'm an attorney with the law firm of Lou Bridges & Associates. We've been helping distressed homeowners like you for over 8 years now. We defend foreclosure actions. We bring claims against the banks and the servicers for wrongful foreclosure and other violations of mortgage servicing regulations. And we help people negotiate modifications of their existing mortgages, often including principal reductions. Give us a call. We provide free consultations. I guarantee you it will not be a sales pitch. We will give you our honest analysis, counsel, and advice regarding your options.
Hi, this is Rayanne from Lou Bridges & Associates. I am one of the loan modification processors here, and if you are in need of any additional information in regard to a loan modification, please contact the office.
Go to bridgeslaw.net or call 224-513-1231. That's 224-513-1231.
Remember, people, never give up the land. Fight for truth and justice. You do that, and I guarantee you'll never be alone.
AM 560, The Answer.
I'm concerned.
Well,
Stormy Daniels is now shopping around to see what network will pay her the most money so she could tell all about her sexual tryst with President Trump. And she has a reason to do so because Michael Cohen, the man who paid her $130,000 out of his own pocket, has come forward, just fessing up that he paid her $130,000.
And he's also shopping a book as Cohen, Trump's attorney or one of Trump's attorneys.
Yeah, who said he did this, to always protect the president. His statement was so shady and strange. It left everybody in the social media wondering, oh, he just did this out of the goodness of his heart. A few months before the election, paid a porn star who President Trump allegedly had an affair with.
It was a very lawyerly statement. It left open the possibility that maybe it was he fronted the money and got reimbursed from other organizations. It was odd. The whole thing is odd.
I just want her to go away. I don't want to hear about it. We already know too much. They didn't use protection, blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
She got $75,000 recently from some strip joint owner just to show off her assets.
To fake her real, Dan. Yeah.
Her eyelashes?
Yeah.
I think they're fake.
And I feel bad for Melania. I mean, this is a time if you're going to leave your man, This is the time.
Oh,
to do it.
you think?
Well,
think
after
Melania
you
is gonna
give
leave?
birth is the most, emotional time, obviously, of your life. And to know that your husband's, after you gave birth to your son, your husband's out there cheating on you, not just cheating on you, but cheating on you with a porn star and not using protection. Gross.
Allegedly, according to Stormy Daniels, and I mean, I obviously heard
Something happened, Dan. That's why money was exchanged.
Well, I'm just saying it's alleged, and Stormy Daniels maybe,
but nobody seems
maybe
to
is not beyond reproach when it comes to credibility.
Yeah.
Perhaps.
Okay. Nice plausible deniability there. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
We're going to get an update on how Commander Paul Bauer's family is doing from Joe Ahern, who's the CEO of the 100 Club of Chicago, an organization that supports families of fallen police officers and first responders. That's at 8:08.
But now let's go into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
Reaction from a vigil held for that fallen commander last night. We'll check your foggy forecast, too. WIND, Chicago News Time, 8.
He's jailed on 17 counts of premeditated murder. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Nicholas Cruz is accused of this. The shooting spree at his old high school in Florida. 17 people were killed, 15 injured.
We all hid in a corner. We were silent. We were all texting our parents. It was just very, very scary.
After being questioned all night, Cruz was booked into jail.
Parkland, Florida, normally unremarkable, is now a scene of heartbreak and carnage.
He was a former student of Douglas High School. He got expelled for disciplinary reasons. I don't know the specifics.
Scott Israel, the Broward County Sheriff, speaking about Nicholas Cruz, the 19-year-old now in custody for the attack. Once the name got out there, students who just escaped his rampage knew exactly who it was.
He's been a trouble kid, and he'd always had like a certain amount of, issues going on.
And his social media accounts reflected that with posting glorifying guns and violence and chat logs replete with questions about bombs. In Miami, Eben Brown, Fox News.
We've just found out President Trump will address the nation on this in 2 hours. He tweeted earlier, so many signs the shooter was mentally disturbed. Neighbors and classmates knew he was a big problem, must always report such instances. Florida Governor Rick Scott says,
we are going to make sure that we in this state figure out how to stop violence at our schools.
Here's Florida Senator Marco Rubio.
This is a person who could be a very serious problem. And then what can you do about it? How can you get ahead of it? How can you jump on that and prevent it from happening? And that's the problem here.
The Republican says we should get all the facts before passing any law, but fellow Florida Senator Democrat Bill Nelson says
an AR-15 is not for hunting, it's for killing. And the question is, should this be a legal weapon?
Democratic House Leader Nancy Pelosi says enough is enough, calling for stricter gun control as the Senate today keeps working on immigration and a DACA fix. Fox News, fair and balanced.
40 degrees, skies are cloudy. Winds southwest at 10 at 8:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning, I'm Mike Scott. Foggy conditions are causing travel issues this morning. National Weather Service issuing a dense fog advisory until around 9 a.m. A 4-time felon is charged with murder for taking the life of a Chicago police commander, Paul Bauer. Shomari Leggett is due in court today, accused of shooting the 31-year-old officer Tuesday during a struggle in a stairwell outside of the Thompson Center. Superintendent Eddie Johnson gave details on the charges.
I'm glad to announce that we've charged 42-year-old Shomari Leggett with first-degree murder of a police officer, as well as several other charges.
Commander Paul Bauer's wake will be held tomorrow at Nativity of Our Lord Catholic Church on the South Side. His funeral will take place the following day at the same church. Illinois Governor Bruce Rauner says the state can spend more on public schools, the state's universities, and even roads, but only if lawmakers order local schools and local governments to pay more. The governor yesterday unveiling a $37.5 billion spending plan built around a cost shift for teacher pensions and state employee health care. Kyle Lowry and Serge Ibaka each had 20. And the Raptors win over the Bulls, 122-98 last night. College Hardwood fighting Illini fall to Indiana, 78-68. In the Valley, win number 22 for Loyola. They beat Valpo 80-71. It's 8:03, time for the AM 560 Business Beat. From the Fox Business Network and a service of Turnkey.pro, here's Ginny Casola.
From the Fox Business Network, Qualcomm is back to talking with Broadcom about the two chip makers merging. Reuters says Qualcomm representatives met with executives from Broadcom yesterday. Broadcom has offered more money for Qualcomm. Warren Buffett's investment firm just bought more than 31 million shares of Apple stock and purchased nearly 19 million shares of Teva Pharmaceutical Industries. The firm, Berkshire Hathaway, sold 2 million shares of IBM. McDonald's is making its Happy Meals healthier. The kids' meals no longer will automatically come with cheeseburgers and chocolate milk. Instead, you will need to specially order those menu items. The latest changes will happen by June. The Dow Jones Industrials rallied yesterday, up 253 points. NASDAQ added 130. S&P gained 35. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Jenny Cosola.
It's 8:04. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Our nation is deeply divided. Gone are the days when civil discourse bridged the gap between the two sides. If we'll ever find common ground, we must get beyond the talking points. AM 560, The Answer, is bringing together two of America's sharpest political minds from opposite sides of the aisle. To do just that, it's Beyond the Talking Points with Dan Proft and Donna Brazil on Thursday, March 22nd. Proft and Brazil will go head-to-head, tackling the big issues facing our nation. Tickets are on sale now at 560theanswer.com/beyond.
All money managers may seem pretty much the same. But while some money managers may recommend high commission investment products, Fisher Investments avoids them. Some money managers may have hidden and layered fees. Fisher Investments never does. And while some money managers are happy to earn commissions from you, whether you do well or not, Fisher Investments fees are structured so we do better when you do better. In other words, we're structured to be on your side. Maybe that's why most of our clients come to us from other money managers. Talk with us and find out why so many experienced investors are switching to and staying with Fisher Investments. Fisher Investments, clearly better money management. Investments in securities involve the risk of loss. Visit us at FisherInvestments.com to find out what we can do for you.
It's 8:06 and time to check the roads this morning in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim.
Thanks, Mike. With that fog, there are a handful of flight cancellations this morning. More at Midway than at O'Hare. Inbound Kennedy's just brutal. No crashes to report. It's just a mess from Austin to Fullerton and really most of the way into downtown. It is an hour and 20 minutes O'Hare to the Burn Circle, 50 minutes from Montrose, 44 in the Express, outbound 46 to the airport. Eden's 28 minutes, Lake Hook to the Junction, outbound 38. The Eisenhower, an hour and 14 minutes, 390 to downtown, 52 minutes from Manheim, outbound 58 to 390. Stevenson, an hour and 10 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 41 minutes. And Ryan, 36 minutes, 95th to downtown. Bishop Ford, still 55 minutes, 8094 to the merge. Southbound Lakeshore Drive, still Bryn Mawr to North Avenue, northbound from the Stevenson to Jackson. Northbound Tri-State delays are from Cicero to 31st and from the Reagan Tollway to the Grand Avenue curve. The Adams Tollway is good. Reagan Tollway, still 31 to 59, Winfield to Yackley. Veterans Memorial from I-55 to the Reagan Tollway. The Army Trail toll to 290. 53 has delays in both directions approaching Kirchhoff. Southbound I-65, got about a 10-mile backup. There's a crash at the Kankakee River Bridge, which still has a right lane closed. Delay starts past 153rd Avenue. Traffic answers when you need them most on Jim Talamonte. AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast with meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Dense fog advisory in effect for the morning. Cloudy day with areas of morning fog and some drizzle, followed by a little rain in the afternoon, high 43. Tonight, overcast and colder, low 25. Then a colder day, clouds give way to sun tomorrow, high 28. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
It is 40 degrees at O'Hare. Next news, 8:30, and Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the Alpha Wealth Group, bringing the trilogy of estate, tax, and investment planning together. Visit alphawealthgroup.com for a free report.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So updating the case of the murder of 18th District Police Commander Paul Bauer. Yesterday, a nice moment amid the tragedy was this vigil that was organized outside the 18th District station to commemorate Commander Bauer's life. And it was nice to see. I actually got a notice at my building about it. Everybody was invited to participate, so it was good to see the word being spread and that people turned out, and it was an opportunity to show some appreciation for Commander Bauer's career, as well as just show some respect and appreciation for police.
Yeah, and kids came, elderly people came, strangers came, and some people that knew him.
We just have to remember how sad and tragic it is for his daughter and his wife and each and every person that worked with him on the police department and each and every person that might have been helped by this man had he lived.
And Superintendent Eddie Johnson has come forward saying that he will fill the role of taking her to school. His daughter that he had left behind, 13-year-old daughter, if she needs to be taken to school or to a daughter daddy dance. And Superintendent Johnson has said part of Chicago has died.
Some individuals just do not play by society's rules. He was one of them. Shouldn't be out there ever again.
And of course, that was him talking about the gunman, the 44-year-old who had 4 felony convictions, yet somehow he had a gun.
And he is being arraigned today. For more on this topic, maybe some insight on how the Bauer family is doing, we're pleased to be joined again by our friend Joe Ahern. He is the CEO of the 100 Club of Chicago, which is a nonprofit organization that supports families of fallen officers like the Bauers. We partnered with Joe and the 100 Club of Chicago at our golf outing.
We are going to
last summer, and we're doing it again this summer.
Yep.
Yeah, so we're the organization. Joe, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Good morning, Dan. Good morning, Amy. And thank you for all that you do for police officers and law enforcement in general. They are very grateful for you're always supporting them.
That's our pleasure. What can you tell us about the family? Have you had the opportunity to visit with them?
Well, Dan, I rushed over to the emergency room as soon as I heard on Tuesday, and I was there, and Superintendent Johnson brought me in to meet with Aaron briefly and Grace. Of course, it was all just happened, and everyone was in shock and mourning. I'm going to be able to meet with the family later today, and hopefully just be able to express our profound sadness. I've been all over the city yesterday, and whether you're north side, south side, or whomever, people loved Paul Bauer. He was a consummate gentleman. He was a great dad, a wonderful husband, and a terrific police officer. And this guy had no sharp elbows. He treated everybody with respect and integrity, and he was just about one of the finest guys you could ever meet. And this whole city is mourning, as you well know, and have expressed earlier today on your show. So we're going to meet with her, and of course, on Friday is the wake, and Saturday morning the service, and you can expect just a tremendous outpouring of condolences throughout the city for this family.
And besides the support and the love that the 100 Club offers, financially, funerals cost a lot of money, and you guys are there with a check, correct? Are you going to present them with a check today?
Yeah, we're there with some immediate financial support, which is the way it should be, Amy. Thank God for all the supporters of the 100 Club who have a big heart for our law enforcement and firefighter families that are left behind when a tragedy happens, that we're able to provide financial assistance to the family, and then and college education for them. When Grace is just 13 years of age, but when she is ready to go to college, we'll be there to help support her with her college education. And there are literally tens of thousands of people out there who really love the police and firefighters and respect them for what they do and put their life on the line. And frankly, for all the families that are left behind, these are generations of families that continue to serve our community and make it a better place to live. And when one is lost, I think everyone suffers.
Just a little bit more background on the 100 Club, the derivation of the name of the organization and the number of families in this region, firefighter and police families that you've served.
Yeah, thanks, Dan. Well, it started actually in the 50s in Detroit, where a police officer was killed. An auto dealer wanted to help the family, and he and another fellow reached out to 100 people and said, we have to help these families when they're left behind. And that's where the name came about, the 100 Club. And our branch started in 1966, August of 1966. So we're coming up on 52 years. And when a police officer or a firefighter or anyone in state, local, federal law enforcement is killed in the line of duty, we give the widow financial support, and then we also send all the kids to college, and then we also are able to give counseling support as well. But there's Commander Bauer, with his death, this is 265 families, line of duty deaths that we've had over the 52 years. It's a little more than 5 a year. And right now we have 21 sons and daughters that are in college currently that, again, are all sons and daughters of policemen and firemen who have paid the ultimate sacrifice. And then in the future, with Commander Bauer's loss, we have 65 additional young people that will be coming of age in the future to go on to college. So that's why we continue to do what we do, and by support, and frankly, the wonderful support that you showed us with the golf outing, meeting a lot of new friends and supporters of the 100 Club, we're able to continue to do the work that we do.
Well, Mr. Ahern, how can people donate to the 100 Club?
Well, thanks, Amy, for asking. They could go to 100clubchicago.org, and that's the numerical 100 Chicago, 100clubchicago.org, and make a donation. They can click on there. You can use a credit card, or you can also send a donation into us at 875 North Michigan Avenue, Suite 1351. And off of Michigan Avenue. That's the John Hancock Building. Soon to be changed.
That's right. No, it's just the address now.
It's 875.
But
right.
back to Commander Bauer.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at his, just his career, 67 various awards, including 32 honorable mentions, 2 crime reduction awards, 1 NATO Summit Service Award, 18 complimentary letters. I mean, everyone that I know said that he was a cop's cop.
He really was. I knew Paul when he was the commander of the mounted unit, and he had the respect of the horses. I said this so many times yesterday. When you get on top of a horse, the horse can tell instinctively whether or not you know what you're doing, and they'll take advantage of you. Well, Paul knew what he was doing, but he also respected the horse, and you can't outmuscle a horse; they're too big for you. And but if you treat them with respect, the horse will do anything for you. And the horses did anything for Paul, but also did the men and women that served Paul, not only in the mounted unit, but throughout the 18th District. Anyone that he touched, people followed him because he was a great leader. And beyond that, a great dad and a great husband, as you could see from, the stories that have been shared with so many people over the last couple of days. It's really a profound loss for this, for the whole community.
Yeah, I have a friend who was a year behind him at St. Ignatius, and she recounts him as a high school kid, being everything that people are describing him as, as an adult and a decorated police officer. So he, was a good egg from the start. Anyway, Joe Ahern, he is the CEO of the 100 Club of Chicago. The number 100, 100clubchicago.org, 100clubchicago.org if you want to support the 100 Club, who supports families like the Bauers. Joe, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Dan. Thanks, Amy. Thanks so much for all you guys do.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
Yeah, and he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Listen to podcasts of Dan and Amy from the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Commander Bauer, he looks like Chris Knopf.
He does have a little bit of Chris Knopf in him.
And you know what I love about him? I mean,
whereas I look a little bit more like Jerry Orbach.
Well, we'll talk about you later.
Oh.
But the recent snowstorm, he used his snowblower to clear the sidewalk. Not only on his side of the street, but on the other side of the street as well. That's a man. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, what are we going to be? The weather. Yeah, but after the weather, what are we doing? Sorry, I'm a little foggy this morning, and it's foggy outside, and then it turned into drizzle, and then rain by this afternoon, a high of 43 degrees. Tonight, the cold sets back in the area, a low of 25, and tomorrow we'll have a high of 28 degrees with some sunshine by the afternoon. Now let's get into the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Amy and Dan. Problems on southbound I-65. It is a solid mess from past 153rd Avenue to the Kankakee River Bridge. The right lane is closed after an early morning rollover. Westbound Indiana Toll Road seeing delays. Past Grand Decline, left lane's blocked with the jackknife semi. Edens is 22 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 29. Kennedy. Inbound delay starts at Austin, but it is an hour and 20 minutes. O'Hare to downtown. 50 minutes from Montrose, 44 in the Express. Outbound 46 to the airport. The Ike, an hour and 7 minutes, 390 to downtown. 48 minutes from Manheim. Outbound 56 to 390. Stevenson, an hour and 12 minutes, 355 to the drive. Outbound 44 minutes now. Ryan, 36 minutes, 95th to downtown. Southbound Lakeshore Drive, delay start at Bryn Mawr, 35 minutes, Hollywood Monroe. Northbound Tri-State delays, 115th to 31st. Reagan Tollway to the Grand Avenue Curve. Reagan Tollway slow from the Aurora Toll to Yola, 59 to Washington. Veterans Memorial, I-55 to the Reagan Tollway. The Army Trail Toll to 290. Southbound 53 is heavy ran to Kirchhoff. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Here's some great news. If you missed the deadline to sign up for health insurance, or more importantly, if you signed up for a plan that you're just not happy with, you still have a choice. It's called MediShare. MediShare is a Christian healthcare sharing program that's been around for 25 years, and they have hundreds of thousands of members all across the country. And get this, over the years, MediShare members have shared more than $1 billion of each other's medical bills. Best of all, you could save a lot of money with MediShare. The typical savings for a family is about $500 a month. Your savings could be more or less, but think about what you could do with that extra money. Think you're stuck with a high-cost health plan that doesn't have a lot to offer? Well, think again. You can join MediShare anytime, so call them today and check it out. Here's the number to find out more, and there's no pressure. They're super easy to talk to. 844-41-BIBLE. That's 844-41-BIBLE. 844-41-BIBLE.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I'm Mark Gastineau. I played in the NFL for 10 years. I was diagnosed with CTE, with dementia, Alzheimer's, and Parkinson's. The fruits and vegetables that we take from Balance of Nature is the best thing that we could ever do. And I'm calling in now to order extra because of my wife has been taking mine because she sees a difference in me. It is a wonderful thing that Balance of Nature is doing. I hear the testimonies on the radio, but I'm a testimony for myself. And the fruits and vegetables, if I don't take them every single day, my day is not going to go the same. So God bless you, and thank you for what you've done for my wife and I.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first month's order and ship it to you free. Call 800-246-8751 or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Amanda Zanger, owner of Black Industrial and Safety Supply in Hammond, Indiana, and a business customer of Signature Bank. Prior to owning my own business, I worked for a major financial institution. So when it came time to finance the acquisition of Black, I approached a big bank, only to receive a solid no. That's when Signature Bank stepped in. With Signature Bank, the process was different. Signature provided creative financing options that enabled me to purchase Black and continue to grow the business. Thanks to Signature Bank, Black Industrial is able to continue serving Fortune 500 industry fabricators and contractors with tools and safety supplies as we have since 1893.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Hey guys, Ken here from the hit podcast Today's Growth. Who would win a 3-mile bicycle race, an 11-year-old girl or last year's winner of the Tour de France? It all depends on the bicycle. It depends on their vehicle. Both on a 10-speed and the pro racer is going to win every time. But put the racer on a tricycle and the 11-year-old wins every time. You see, it's not the driver, it's the vehicle. When it comes to generating revenue, it's exactly the same. If you have a job or a small business, you are riding a tricycle. You can only go so fast. If you need to make up lost ground, it's not going to happen on a tricycle. No matter how fast you pedal, it's simply not going to win the race. Why do many people with no schooling and no advanced degree often become very wealthy? Simple. They choose to only ride 10 speeds. When it comes to helping people create their next revenue model, both Forbes and Inc. recommend Income Store as a can't miss when it comes to putting people on a 10-speed. Could your household or business use an additional revenue model that doesn't solely depend on you? If so, you need to check out IncomeStore.com. That's IncomeStore.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, and this, so much swirling around this horrific shooting in Florida, 17 dead, 15 hospitalized, 5 in critical condition.
Extremely critical condition.
Yeah, the shooter in custody, known quantity to the students. You've had a variety of opinions on him, but you also had somebody on YouTube, apparently, according to BuzzFeed's reporting, tip off the FBI back in September that the shooter had posted about a desire to be a school shooter, at least somebody with a handle that's exactly the name of the shooter with the exact spelling, and it's not necessarily a common spelling of his first name, posted about that. FBI tipped off. They contact this guy who tipped them off the next day in September. Then he doesn't hear from them until yesterday. They circle back with him to ask him if he knew the shooter, which he didn't, according to the reporting on it. So this is not to blame at this point. We talked to Andy McCarthy about this, former federal prosecutor. But it is certainly to say the FBI, very much like the Orlando shooting, they had interactions with the Orlando shooter before his rampage, about protocols and how they processed the information they were given, what they did, why they did it, what they didn't do, why they didn't do it, in the wake of what happened yesterday.
I know, and I keep racking my brain. Why didn't they investigate more? Maybe it was because he wasn't in high school anymore. I mean, most school shootings are students that are attend the school, except for the Sandy Hook.
Sandy Hook wasn't, but also this guy got expelled from that school. So if you look at what he posted and then you look up and find, well, he's been expelled from the school, that would give me even more concern because now you have a revenge motive.
Yeah, apparently he was in 2 private schools, was kicked out of 2 private schools before attending this high school that, by the way, Cubs first baseman Anthony Rizzo, he went to this high school. They had 3,000 students there. But students always knew that he was the strange one. And last night on MSNBC, the student Brandon Minoff came forward and said even if he didn't have guns, it wouldn't have mattered because he would have done some damage otherwise.
Gun-wise, I don't think there's any way to prevent it. You outlaw guns, just creates higher demand for it. I think it has to do with mental health, though. If he's been expelled 3 different times from 3 different schools, I think he should be helped out.
Well, right, the combination of the expulsions plus the social media postings, there seemed to be a lot of red flags that were waving wildly for this guy. So
I mean, even making the YouTube video that's in question, it was saying that he wants to be the biggest school shooter ever in the history of the United States. I mean, that's crazy behavior.
Mike in Lake Forest, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
You know, I want to get back to the root of all these problems are the judges. The judges who let these people out. You're talking about Florida. They knew about him. We'll get back to what the commander said here. This guy should not have been walking the streets. And I really didn't want to give out my name. I'm a practicing attorney. And these judges in Cook County, these Democratic hack judges, they will stick it to you every time. And the other thing, Dan, that you know is very serious, a
a defendant gets in front of a judge he knows he can manipulate, he can waive a jury. Illinois is one of the few states where you say, I want to get tried. That's why you have Gray Lord. That's why, look at all the corrupt judges. You got to name the judges who let this guy out. It happens all the time. I could get very emotional. I've seen stalkers acquitted by judges, and then the stalky girl is walking the streets hoping she's not killed by the stalker.
Yeah.
And
well, what judges should we vote for?
First you have to name these judges, and they're just too lenient. You don't have to be a Harvard or forget Harvard. You don't have to be a smart person to know this guy should not have been walking the streets that killed
killed Bauer.
That killed Commander Bauer.
4-time felon.
I'm a grown man.
Right.
And when I opened the paper yesterday, Dan, there was a tear in my eye. Could you see these men? 13-year-old guy, he's going out fighting evil, and then he dies. And why? This guy should not have been walking the streets.
What about
the judges?
Yeah, Mike.
The judges are responsible.
In addition to that, what about because we've talked a little bit about this, but I think this is an under discussed part of the problem. There's that side of the justice system. Judges, yes. What about Cook County State's Attorney's Office?
That's another thing that you're right. That's something that should be investigated because I see some of these charges were dropped. We have to have red flags saying this person is either mentally sick, something's wrong. And the other thing that I think everybody should start watching, read the book The Alienist. There are certain people whose minds are so corrupted today that you can't help them. Read the book The Alienist. Take a look. This person in Florida, there's something wrong with him. But this guy that did this to Bauer and the superintendent, he puts his, there's probably crooks out there hoping they're going to kill the superintendent next. He said, and I am so emotional because after you walk out of court and some judge acquits some piece of garbage, you know what the detectives say? Any other court, any other county, but Cook County. So the blood is on Madigan's hands. The blood is on all these corrupt officials. And somebody like John Cass should start writing about these judges. It's too late now to talk about Bauer. You got to talk about these judges. And you see, I'm emotional because I've seen it happen. And I know people walking the streets fearful for the person who stalked them, who's walking the streets.
Thanks for the call. Thanks for the call, Mike.
And I just feel so bad for that 13-year-old daughter, but something's got to be done. You got to name these judges. Thanks, guys.
Thanks for the call.
Bye.
Appreciate that. Appreciate that perspective. We're going to we'll pick up this conversation. Take your calls 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. Talk Florida at 8:38.
But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
Clouds and 40 degrees. And as you've been talking about with Dan and Amy this morning, that South Florida community reeling from a devastating school massacre that left 17 dead yesterday. A former student at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High entered that campus and, according to eyewitnesses, pulled a fire alarm and then began opening fire with a rifle. Police say Nicholas Cruz killed 17, wounding more than a dozen others. He's been charged already with 17 counts of premeditated murder, and the community is still reeling, including this student, Jeremiah Baez, who says the situation inside the school was as confusing as outside.
All the kids came inside the rooms and everything. There were teachers pulling us in and telling us to get in the rooms and be quiet.
President Trump will discuss the school shooting in Florida this morning. He'll address the nation at 10 a.m. A bipartisan Senate bill meant to protect dreamers and pour billions into border security is looking more and more like a long shot after earlier this morning looking like a done deal. Senate Democrat leader Chuck Schumer said yesterday, "We're closer than we've ever been to passing something in the Senate to help dreamers and strengthen border security, but now middle-of-the-roaders are withholding their support." Vice President Mike Pence says the White House should have handled the Rob Porter situation better. Pence telling reporters that the Trump administration should have no tolerance for domestic violence. We'll be watching today as Veterans Affairs Secretary David Shulkin will testify before a House Veterans panel about his agency's budget requests that may have come after his chief of staff altered an email and lied to ethics officials about tax money used for Shulkin's wife's travel expenses to Europe last year. A 1-year-old boy is in serious condition this morning following a fire on Chicago's south side near 56th and Damon. 4 others, including that boy, were left homeless. A 4-time felon charged with murdering Chicago Police Commander Paul Bauer is due in court later today. Shamari Leggett is accused in the shooting death of the 31-year veteran officer during a struggle outside the Thompson Center. Leggett has a long criminal history that stretches back more than 2 decades. Chicago sports, Kyle Lowry with 20 in the Raptors win over the Bulls, 122-98. Blackhawks will try and end a 7-game losing skid when they host the Ducks tonight. College hoops, win number 22 for Loyola on the year. They beat Valpo at the Gentile Center, 80-71. The news, a service of Staples. Let Staples help you this tax season with everything you need for less. Storage boxes and filing supplies to software like QuickBooks and TurboTax. Right now, get up to $15 off when you buy TurboTax. Ends 2/17/18, excludes TurboTax Basic. Staples, it's pro time. 8:34, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher wants the media to stop overreacting.
We dropped 1,100 points. That's 4.6%. The 4.6% happens about 3 times a year. It had nothing to do with Donald Trump. It has to do with interest rates likely rising because the economy is doing so well. It has to do with a normal, inevitable course correction, but yet the media never wants to miss a chance to show him up.
The Mike Gallagher Show, weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas, great coffee, period. There's still time to make and keep that New Year's resolution to get your space organized. If you're tired of trying to find tools or equipment you know you have, then you need StoreLock. It's the best tool cabinet and modular system you'll ever buy. This is the year to finally get your garage or your business efficient and looking fantastic. Each StoreLock storage system includes custom dividers, liners, and layouts. And these systems are tough. Each drawer holds up to 400 pounds. They're made exact to order in the size and color you want and ships fully assembled. All StoreLock products are 100% USA made too, right here in Kankakee, Illinois, and have a 55-year unconditional guarantee. So get organized now. Visit StoreLock.com. That's STORLOC.com. See StoreLock in person. Click the events tab on StoreLock.com to find a trade show near you. That's StoreLock.com.
It is 8:36. Let's get an update on the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center with Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. Metro has trains stopped on the Union Pacific North Line near Davis Street in Evanston due to police activity. Eden's 24 minutes. Lake Cook to the junction, up on 27. Kennedy still an hour and 20 minutes. O'Hare to downtown. 50 minutes from Montrose. 44 in the Express. Up on 46 to the airport. The Eisenhower's an hour and 13 minutes. 390 to downtown. It's 52 minutes from Manheim. Up on 45 to 390. Stevenson, an hour and 12 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 43 minutes. The Ryan, 38 minutes, 95th to downtown. Bishop Ford, 50 minutes, 8094 to the merge. Tri-State southbound heavy from the Adams Tollway to the O'Hare Oasis. Northbound from 115th to 31st, and from the Reagan Tollway to the Grand Avenue curve. The Adams Tollway's good. Reagan Tollway stop and go Farnsworth to Eola. Veterans Memorial from I-55 to the Reagan Tollway. The Army Trail toll to 290. Southbound I-65 is jammed past 153rd Avenue before the Kankakee River Bridge. Right lane's blocked after an early morning crash. Traffic answers when you need them most. Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Jim, thank you. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. Fog this morning, areas of drizzle and rain through the day, high 43. Currently 40. Next news coming up at 9. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Mortgage Makeovers, a show walking you through stress-free mortgage options. Mortgage Makeovers, Sunday afternoons at 1 on AM 560, The Answer.
See Dan Proft and Donna Brazil go head-to-head at Beyond the Talking Points on Thursday, March 22nd. Tickets are on sale now at 560theanswer.com/beyond.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy, and this was the scene at that Florida high school. This is some very disturbing audio, so just be forewarned. But this is one of the students videoing what was happening in real time as the shooter was in the building in that high school.
Holy Oh my God! Oh my God!
They were locked in a classroom, but bullets came through the walls because you see from the video on the phone bullet holes in one of the computer screens near the kids. So, I mean, just to give you a sense of how horrific this was, if in addition to obviously the body count and the injuries tells you everything else you need to know.
And it was a well-planned attack. He had on a gas mask. He brought smoke bombs. He shot 5 people on the way into the school and shot 12 inside the school. And it's just unbelievable because how he got out, because he was found about a mile away in this community. He put the weapon down and he put his hands up and he mingled in with the kids that were leaving the school, and that's how he got out of there.
He's 19 years old.
So
he's
creepy.
Basically in the same age cohort.
Yeah.
So this has been, of course, we've had to address these travesties before, and they immediately get politicized by some, like Connecticut Senator Chris Murphy, who took to the Senate floor. He was going to talk about immigration, but he was compelled to make a statement on the shooting.
I'm coming to the floor to talk about something else, but let me just note once again for my colleagues that this happens nowhere else other than the United States of America. This epidemic of mass slaughter, this scourge of school shooting after school shooting.
Not scourge.
It only happens here not because of coincidence, not because of bad luck, but as a consequence of our inaction. We are responsible for a level of mass atrocity that happens in this country with zero parallel anywhere else.
The scourge or scourge of Chris Murphy. Is Congress responsible for the Florida shooting? That's what he said. Is Congress responsible for yesterday's high school shooting in Florida, the 17 dead, the 15 injured, 5 critically? Or is it maybe the Trump administration? This is all an elaborate misdirection play. Chris Hayes from MSNBC tweeted yesterday, is the White House really hiding behind a school shooting so they don't have to answer questions about a host of scandals of the administration? Kind of looks like that's what's happening. Does it look like that's what's happening to you? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. 64636-DA, turnkey.pro text line.
It's unbelievable. And then you learn about this shooter. He was adopted. His mother died 2 months ago from the flu. She suddenly died. Neighbors took him in. Those neighbors have given authorities and investigators the keys to their house and said, go through. We did not see this coming. But if you look at his digital profile, always posing with guns and knives and making YouTube videos, saying that he was going to be a school shooter. We need somebody to police social media. That's what we need. That should be our new branch of law enforcement.
Well, you have law enforcement, and part of doing an investigation can include reviewing social media posts from a suspect. So we need a new division.
Yes.
That's dedicated to that.
Because every mass shooter, they leave behind a footprint. It's just like a prophetic statement of what's going to happen. Jared Loughner, same thing.
Well, so we had a YouTuber reportedly tip off the FBI in September. Mm-hmm. So they could have accessed his social, and I'm not blaming the FBI yet. We don't know enough, I think, to make determinations. But that happened. The information was accessible publicly. That's how this tipster from Mississippi notified the FBI, who then got in contact with him the next day. So is it new divisions, more Big Brother, or maybe, and maybe in some cases, it's either the need for more law enforcement resources or the need to repurpose existing law enforcement resources towards higher order priorities than they're otherwise being dedicated to at present. Maybe that's part of it too.
Or if you've been expelled from school 3 times, or maybe twice, or maybe just once, not be allowed to buy a gun? Is that, I mean, because he passed the background check and the firearm was purchased legally, the AR-15.
Yeah, so he passed the background check. Also, zero tolerance policies. I mean, the problem is at K through 12 level now, you can be expelled for making a gun with your index finger and thumb,
or out of
bringing
bread.
a squirt gun to school. So based on the zero tolerance, zero judgment policies of so many K through 12 school systems, you want to categorically rescind people's constitutional rights? I think it's more complicated than that. Amish texter with a rare phone call. The Amish texter who's riding his...
He's giving his fingers a break.
Conestoga wagon in Huntley. Amish.
How you doing?
Good.
Oh, good morning. Good morning. Yeah, that stupid moron that took to the floor happens nowhere else. I wonder if you'd like to talk to maybe the band and the dead family or the family members of the 130 killed, murdered under strict gun control laws at the Bataclan nightclub in Paris.
Yeah, right.
Hey, real quick, next time our good friend Scott from the West Side calls in, try to get his personal contact information. We want to have him out for a cigar session with his friends.
Okay, all right. Thanks, Amish. I got a homework assignment. All right, very good. Do that. Scott on the West Side, you've been notified. We need to loop you into the crew here. Jim in Indiana, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, I'm from Indiana. I'm a practicing attorney. I've been practicing for quite some time, and I had to call. I've never called the radio station before, but I have to let you know what I see over the many decades. Several decades I've been practicing law. I've seen a change in the way potential criminals have been handled through the mental health system and the preventive or preemptive way that we used to deal with people that had mental issues. For example, Amy was talking about this guy had some red flags that were floating around, and somebody like that could have been taken by his family or friends or whomever, and a medical personnel could have been notified that he could have been examined, he could have been determined to have mental issues, could have been treated until he was back to sanity again or held for whatever period of time. We don't do that anymore because society, in my opinion, has moved to the left so far that everybody has so many rights that we're afraid to step on anybody's toes. And these guys who have problems are they slip through the cracks. They're left alone. Nothing happens with them until something like this does happen. And our criminal justice system is such, as you know, that nothing ever happens to a criminal until actually he commits a crime. But people that are troubled, have issues, you see them all the time. They're walking around in the streets, they're homeless. They're people that are constantly having brushes with the criminal justice system. However, they're let go because they haven't committed, quote, the crime yet.
Mm-hmm.
That could be done away with if we just went back to a more conservative approach to dealing with people with mental issues before they strike out like this. That's pretty much all I got to say.
Thanks for the call, Jim. Appreciate that
on an
perspective.
Ancillary issue, I mean, it was Valentine's Day yesterday. It was the 10th anniversary of the Northern Illinois University shooting. I mean, I don't know. I'm at a loss.
Kevin in Lombard.
Hey, Dan and Amy. Just wanted to, first of all, say you guys do an incredible job. I'm a regular listener to you guys for a long time.
Thank you.
And I don't think I've ever called up to you guys, although I've wanted to many times. But the previous caller, and I don't want to just throw him completely under the bus because I think he has a valid point, but he said, the blame is going to be on, the judicial system, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, Mike and Lake
on
Forest.
the judges.
Yeah.
The judges.
Yeah.
So he has a good point, but I think what struck me was, you know what? We all have brokenness in us, and we should all be responsible for our actions. And these people who get to the point that they can go take a gun and go into a school and take a life of somebody, this was broken way before that point in that person's life. He has not been, our society, coming from our family to the judicial system, but our society as a whole, and I would advocate strongly for the family, people are not being held responsible for their actions.
Well,
people have got to be held responsible for their actions.
Yeah, thanks for the.
So it's a train wreck.
Thanks, Kevin. I appreciate that. I mean, and as you said, I don't think that's inconsistent with what Mike in Lake Forest was saying about holding people responsible for their actions in the judicial system, in the criminal justice system, judges and prosecutors. And he was, of course, specifically speaking about the four-time loser who murdered Commander Bauer, and why was he on the streets? I think that was his point, and so the failure on the prosecutorial side and the judicial side, that's part of the conversation about law enforcement and peaceable civil society, too. But appreciate your point about the family and our brokenness and all of those kind of first-order issues. John and Piatone.
Hi there. Let's start at the basics. Stop dumping on the justice system. Stop dumping on the police. Let's start working it out at home, because that's where this problem all starts. Responsible parents would be turning their children in if they feared, if they did just want to kick the can down the road. I was a police officer, and that's where this problem starts. It starts in the home.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Thanks, John. Tom and Schaumburg.
By my count, between the cities, county, state, and the federal government, we already have some 5,000 gun laws on the books. So the obvious question would be, what the hell did we miss? What's next? Do you want to disarm America? Why don't we start with the police? We'll take away their guns and give everybody a whistle. And if there's a bad person in the area, we'll have loudspeakers set up to warn all the good people to take the fetal position until the bad guy is gone. That's the Democrat panacea. That will work. We can disarm border guards, too, and have open borders. That'll work. We blame that on Trump because he's the jerk that created millions of jobs, and now we need a workforce. We know Americans won't want to do any work, so we'll have to have open borders to get a workforce in here. That's my comment.
Thanks, Tom. Zach in Downers Grove.
My only question is, I mean, do we think that maybe there should be some privatized classes or something that we can take our high school kids to when these things happen? They know, like, some type of, SOP to, you need to go to this area, you need to look for this, or you need to look for that to help save their own life.
Thanks for the call, Zach. Well, some schools are doing that, right? They're doing, like, kind of drills in terms of...
active shooter drills. So you have the tornado drill, the fire drill, earthquake drill. For some reason, they do that. But the active shooter drills, when they all go in the closet, they... because my kids did it, they block the door with desks, and then you use books or heavy objects to protect vital organs on yourself. And nobody talks. Nobody says a word.
Yeah.
Well, that's the world we live in. I didn't worry about that when I was growing up, but that's the reality.
Well, this isn't addressing root causes, but I mean, I think this also sparks more conversation about armed security or teachers who are properly trained and licensed to be able to have weapons on the grounds. I think that's part of the conversation. This is addressing a symptom. It's not addressing root causes, but I think you got to do both, and the symptoms immediately and the root causes over time, because the root causes of the kind of evil that was on display in Florida yesterday afternoon are kind of not easily addressed. And that's a reality that we have a difficult time coming to grips with.
There's only one radio show in Chicago talking about today's biggest stories and telling you what they really mean. That show is this one, Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
Picture your son in 10 years. What kind of man do you hope to see? I know you want your son to be a man of character. It's Dan Proft, and I urge you to consider Northridge Prep, ranked the #1 best all-boys school in Illinois for 2 years running, and a top 100 high school in America from U.S. News. Don't miss their open house on March 25th. Northridge Prep is an independent Catholic school for boys in grades 6 through 12 located in Niles. There's no brainwashing that's prevalent elsewhere. They instill the traditional values that you hold as parents. Northridge Prep is all boys with an all-male faculty. They celebrate your son's natural enthusiasm and energy. It's a good place to be a boy. Every teacher is a great role model who gets to the hearts of their students. Their demanding liberal arts curriculum produces well-rounded men with the ability to think for themselves. Grads go on to the best universities, including the Ivy League, and have top athletics and arts programs. I strongly encourage you to attend Northridge Prep's open house on March 25th. To learn more, visit northridgeprep.org. That's northridgeprep.org.
Our freedom and security are made possible through the service and sacrifice of our military and first responders. The Gary Sinise Foundation provides many outreach programs supporting these brave men and women. Join us. Donate at GarySiniseFoundation.org.
Looking to secure financing on a new home or